And we are live. Modeling School. Hello and welcome to the Fanboy Modeling School. I am the Fat Mantis. Now in HD, I'm here with my cohort.
Mean-spirited Steve, shitting on the very sensitivities that make up this world.
Jesus H. What has happened to you? I'm supposed to be the bitter one.
How you doing, big guy?
I'm actually doing much better. You know what it is? The theme music calmed me down.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, we already started the screen and immediately we had all these technical difficulties. I had to admit right there on the stream that we were starting over. And it was embarrassing and it pissed me off. And I wanted to wring somebody's neck, mostly somebody who works in the tech world, whoever the hell that is. But I'm better. How the hell are you?
I was told that it was our best stream ever.
the 6 seconds we were on.
I'm good, bro. I'm so good, man. Shout out to everyone that's in here. Rico, Shaolin Iceboxer, Pony, and for anyone on their way, welcome to Fanboy Modeling School.
Rico says early and ready to shit on some new Transformer shit. Well, that's not exactly how this stream is going to go, brother. Shaolin Iceboxer says, York. This track, he loves this techno track, as does Rico. Loving the 80s sound. Thank you so much. We got Pokey. What up? How is everybody doing? We've got so many topics today. It's kind of crazy how many topics we have.
We do, man. I was a little worried. Thought it was going to be a slow news cycle. I mean, you always have the election looming in the background, just to ruin your good time and your day. But before we get into any of that shit, folks, make sure you download the Live 365 app. Ignore every other radio station on there. You're looking for Riz Radio, your home for independent radio and the music you love, or go straight to rizradio.com. We're going to get a donate button on there pretty soon because you don't know, this man right here shells out his own hard-earned cash to bring you great content.
That's how much I love the content and you.
Oh,
and guys, got to put you on. Normally, we are in our normal positions on Riz Radio, but this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, you're going to get extra Fat Mantis. I'm going to be doing a takeover of the episodes for Wheels Off, the comedy show that starts at 2 p.m. So that's right, it's 2 p.m. to 6 on Saturday, and then you're going to have Mantis 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Sunday. It's going to be like a Mantis smorgasbord, whatever that word means, but it's going to be a good time. So please tune in, guys.
Hey, so I mean to ask you a question, man. You usually do 12-hour streams on days like St. Patty's and stuff like that. How are you going to do that this year, man? Or I mean, next year.
Well, I'm definitely gonna do that. I'm definitely gonna do that. Like, I'm figuring I'm gonna definitely do something for Halloween.
Right. Okay. Okay.
An extendo. Well, as we pointed out last week, I will be streaming every night of October.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get some stream in, and it's gonna be co-streamed on the Spoon app. As we all know, this is the final true end of Spoon. God bless it. It had a good life and a bad life, and now it needs to be killed. So it's gonna be going away. So I'm gonna be streaming there, and then of course Halloween night I'm gonna go extra long.
There you go. Pause. Extendos. So many words that were questionable in that statement. Spoon being the most questionable word of all, man. You know what we should do, man? We should Hey, what up, Matt? We should just have like one night Fanboy with just a shared screen of all the lives going on in Spoon.
Oh, yo, if you want to do that on, I think October 1st or 2nd, we can totally do that. We'll be streaming that on Spoon. Oh, we're so vindictive and devilish. It's wonderful.
It's wonderful. Beck says Spoon kept coming back like Jason. Spoon kept coming back like herpes.
and that's the thing. And you have to remember that I was the arch enemy of Spoon at the end. And so every time it died, I would literally feel like I killed my arch nemesis. I think, infamously, when the first time it died, I bought a bottle of champagne, and it went by a lake. It was nighttime. I'd gotten off of my shift at work, and I was just chugging it, and I started screaming, "I beat you. I beat you!" over and over again. And then guess what? It came back. It came back. So like a horror movie. Jason.
You were literally in your Jamie Lee Curtis mode right there, man.
So this is the final showdown. This is the final one.
This is it. Spoon's going in the wood chipper. My brother. Honorable mentions, right?
Yes, let's do it. Mega Mantis. I love that.
I want to go directly to, for the entire honorable mention, your review of Transformers, right? So I guess that's a main topic, and we'll just get right into it. You and so many of the 5 people who went to go see this movie all unanimously love this film, which has made no money.
No money. Flopping hard right now. Flopping real hard.
It's pushing John
Campia, who I love, God bless him, he keeps stating it's underperforming. He doesn't want to use the F word. It's flopping.
Yeah.
It's flopping unless it's turned around. This is a clear flop. It's not just underperforming. It's hitting it hard. It's true. I'm one of 5 people who loved this movie. Cannot say enough good things about this movie.
It's a damn shame because Paramount needed a win with everything going on with Paramount Studios, man. And yeah, bro. So let's take us through it, man, because my initial reaction to the trailer wasn't one of like dismay. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Transformers animated. This is bringing me back to nostalgia, but it came off as kiddie. And my kids aren't into Transformers, so I didn't really have an excuse to go see it, right? So I was just like, I'll just wait for it to come to streaming.
So what's funny is I had no intention or desire to see this film. I too saw the trailer and I was like, this is for little kids, man. And I was actually pissed because here's what it is. Transformers, it keeps having this problem, right? It can't decide who it's for. Is it for old fanboys like me who remember G1, or is it for little kids? And it's rare that you get a mix. What it is they'll make a series, and the series will either be aimed at people like me, like Transformers Prime or something,
right? Or
for the kids, like Transformers Animated, or the more recent Transformers Earthspark on Nickelodeon. That was super kiddie. It was disgusting, and so I can't stomach the kid stuff. So I was like you. I was like, I'm not gonna touch this movie.
Right.
And so my nephew, who's also a huge Transformers fan, dragged my sister. And they told me it was great. And then the internet was telling me it was great. And on Sunday after church, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go alone. Because here's what I'm saying. I know I sound like a real loser right now, guys. But honestly, the best movie experience you can ever have is going alone.
Oh, yeah.
Here's what it is. Either going alone or going with somebody who's on the same level as you. You're vibing well, because you don't have to fight over where you sit. You don't have to feel shameful about all the snacks you're eating. You don't have to negotiate. As long as you don't have to negotiate your situation in a movie, you're gonna have a really good time.
Right.
And let me tell you, this movie was a very good time.
I believe you, man. I believe you. I know how difficult it is for you to enjoy anything, man. Speaking of going to see movies by yourself, man, famously, I was supposed to go see The Man of Steel with you and the rest of the Haven boys, but it was right before my wedding. And my wife that morning told me, we have to go do this thing where we're going to go see about cutlery and cookware.
I remember that.
And I'm like, why are we doing this? And she was like, because if we do it, they'll pay for our honeymoon. I want you to know Neither did we buy any of the cutlery, which would have qualified us for whatever honeymoon package they had.
Right.
But I also had to go see Man of Steel by myself in a packed AMC theater. And bro, when I tell you this theater was packed, it was a theater in New Rochelle, man. Like it was packed, bro. There was not an empty seat, and this was one of those mega theaters. And we all had a great shared experience. And I had a good time, even by myself. Even looked at the guy next to me and I was like, is this happening? Because I hate Superman. I hated the comics growing up. And I'm like, this was amazing. But you had that experience with Transformers, man. And so did Tyron Magnus and all the other people, all four of them that saw it.
Yeah, it's Jeremy Johns, John Campia, me. We're all loving it. Matt Cat said Transformers 1 was awesome. Took my son. His reaction while watching this movie made my year. The theater experience with this movie was great. It was. Yo, there was times that I was in tears. The audience was in tears. And at the end, we all broke out into clapping.
That's dope.
It was such a good time. And I'll tell you, for those of those who are worried that it's kiddie, here's what it is. It starts off kiddie, but it goes there. It gets adult. It gets dark. And basically, this is a villain's... this is super minor spoiler. This is the origin of Megatron. It is very much his movie. And honestly, in my opinion, they did a better falling, showing a man fall who starts as a good guy and he gets broken emotionally. They did a better job of this than they did with Anakin Skywalker. Now, obviously, Anakin Skywalker, most people think that they did a horrible job, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, in just one movie, Megatron goes from like the most likable motherfucker in the galaxy to the world's greatest villain, and you understand him.
I got that vibe, man, when I was watching the last trailer, the last official trailer, and I was like, all right, man, so this is gonna be an origin story. Man, I'm tempted to go see it, but I'm not. I'm not.
You're gonna go and you're gonna take your sons. Okay.
No, they're not into Transformers at all.
Well,
not even
they'll get into Transformers by watching this.
You can't force the Hold Up TV boys to get into anything, man. They either come to it on their own, just like their dad, or they're like, violent. Like last time I tried to make them watch what the hell was this? The original Jurassic Park. They're like, no, thank you. I tried to make them watch Star Wars. They're like, no, thank you.
So Rico says it's like Michael Bay destroyed Transformers' credibility. I think that's absolutely what it is.
That's accurate.
Because I would actually say that, like, for instance, the one good live action movie they did was Bumblebee, and that didn't flop, but it like almost no one went.
Right.
And it was because of all the horrible things that Michael Bay had done to the franchise.
Right.
And I think people are on the same point. They either think this is kiddie and they're only going to go if they have a small child, or they're like, is this just cartoon Michael Bay crap? Bex loves going alone.
Yeah.
Matt says, Mantis, did you do a video review of Transformers? No, but I'm going to.
There you
it's
go.
happening. It's happening.
Back in the saddle.
My return to YouTube. Always. Sheldon says, I beat you! I beat you! Yes, that is me when it was Spoon. And I'm going to be doing that on Halloween night. Oh, God, I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be doing it in front of all you wonderful people. It's going to be wonderful.
You know what's crazy, man? I remember your last official stream on Spoon was just like a loop of Spoon is dead! Spoon is dead! Spoon is dead!
Yeah, I put that on loop. Oh, my God. That's so funny.
Completely unrelated news. I told you last week that I had started watching Demon Slayer.
Mm-hmm.
Show has its problems, man. Just like any anime, it has poor, consistency and all that stuff. Just finished the last episode of the 4th chapter, and man, I gotta tell you, that shit's fucking amazing.
Amazing, right? Absolutely amazing.
Fucking amazing, man. That shit is fucking amazing.
And you are right. Animes, every anime, I would say every anime. I would even say Dragon Ball Z. There's sometimes just like negative stuff. Like you're like, I can't believe they put that in this, or what's going on, right? So there is no perfect anime, and I agree with you. There's occasionally some stuff where you eye roll. You're like, what is this?
Right.
Silliness. But yo, Demon Slayer is crazy, man.
Bro, literally, I've never watched something where a villain gets read by his counterpart the way Muzan gets read by the blind guy who turns out to be, spoiler alert, his descendant. And he's just like, he just reads them, and on top of that, he's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, not only am I not going to let you kill me and my family, I'm going to blow this bitch up." And I love that the blind guy. I've shown you this video countless times, man. It's the video that made me get into Demon Slayer. I love that the blind guy with the mace.
Are you thinking? Are you thinking Jujutsu Kaisen?
No. The blind guy in Demon Slayer. He's the big buff dude. He's one of the Kaizen guys, and he basically jumps out of nowhere, and Muzan hits him with a named attack. Which, if you know anything about anime, if a villain throws a named attack at you, it's usually you're about to get wrecked. You know what I'm saying? And maybe you'll come back and be able to defend it. He literally deflects the main boss's name attack, and I was like, "This is fucking amazing, bro!" Like, he literally deflects every part of the main attack, and I'm like, and then they pull him into the immortal that realm. I was like, oh man. So apparently, Crunchyroll bought the film rights for the show, and they're going to be releasing a trilogy movie to close it out, which sucks because it's only going to be 40 minutes long, and I'm not paying any money to see anything that's only 40 minutes long.
Oh yeah, no, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, so I'll be waiting the next 5 years, waiting for all three to be released. But yeah, had a good time with that.
No, but that's another thing about anime. Nowadays it's released quicker, right? It comes out on stuff quicker.
It releases quicker than I do.
We live in a day where you could go on Hulu and watch anime, which is nuts to me.
Yes, man. Also, you know what else I got into, man? Just to catch up, I finally finished the second season of Blood of Zeus. Also amazing. But I just started Zack Snyder's animated series on friggin' Netflix.
Rebel Moon.
No, his animated series. He has Fall of the. I think it's called Twilight. Oh yeah, Twilight of the Gods. You're not up to speed on this?
I am not.
It takes place during Norsean times, and it's mythical. It's Laufey's son Loki being pursued by Thor, and it shows all the events that happen in Nordic mythology during this period, man. And I forgot that Thor is not the guy. I always forget this. Thor is not the guy from the MCU in Nordic mythology. In fact, he's nowhere near the character that we read in the comics. Thor's a bastard, and I gotta say the second episode, first and second episode, might be one of the bloodiest things I've seen in a long time. Check it out, man. Twilight of the Gods.
Netflix. You said Netflix?
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
I gotta check it out.
Yeah. A lot of nudity in it, by the way. So if you got kids, it's not for children.
Well, as you know, I'm childless and alone, so we're watching that alone. So
friggin' Charlotte says that boy Muzan is clearly Michael Jackson, 100%. And they pulled the ultimate anime shenanigan on us. Not since Dragon Ball have I had to deal with someone doing a 5-minute walkout with music playing, but Muzan literally has a 5-minute walkout at the end of one episode, right? Which is basically the credits. And then the beginning of the following episode, he's still walking. And I'm like, what the hell? Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Absolutely. Yo, do you know this awesome thing? So we recommend all of this, man. You guys got to check this all out. Good things are happening in the animation space.
Yes.
You got any other honorable mentions before we kick it off?
Oh man, I am waiting for them to do whatever they're gonna do with Dota. If you have not watched Dota on friggin' Netflix, man, you don't have to play the game to watch it. Watch Dota. It is the multiverse saga of Marvel without Marvel. It is quite possibly one of the best multiversal stories ever told. And I'm still waiting on news on the next season of Castlevania. I know I'm in the minority in this, but I enjoyed the next adaptation of Castlevania. Really enjoyed that, and now I'm really going to take a stance on something that's going to be wildly unpopular, and we won't eat up too much time with it. But I'm going to do my best not to argue with you, Mantis, because it's subjective.
Oh, okay.
Watch the first 2 episodes of Agatha All Along, and I actually enjoyed it.
This is why I call you a Marvel shill. This is why I call you a Marvel shill, because you always are like, I watched this thing, it wasn't too bad. I watched the Eternals, wasn't that bad. Well, wait, like, do you have no standards?
Wait, first of all, I always provide context. For instance,
But you always like it, no matter what it is.
No. With the Eternals, I said verbatim, my expectations were so low that I went in and I was like, it was okay. It was okay. That's literally what I said. I didn't fucking sing its praises. I was like, oh, it's bad. It's not as bad as I thought.
I'm not gonna hate on you. You can like what you want to like.
You're full of hatred. You're full of hatred. That's why the music didn't work with the first stream. It's your bad aura. Bex, tell him it's his bad energy. No, so let me be fair. When I say that I liked it, again, my expectations were so low that when I'm watching it, I'm just like, okay, this isn't as horrible. The first episode is basically just her breaking free of Wanda's spell and them introducing Wiccan, but they did some things that were, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. I don't know where it's going. I suspect that I'm going to have the same reaction that I did to Echo, right? And also She-Hulk. You liked the first few episodes of She-Hulk as well, and then eventually it did what it did. But I will say this, juxtaposed to the gay lesbian witches from the Acolyte, these bitches had a much better song than Agatha all along. You remember famously in fucking Acolyte, no one can defend this. The power of one, the power of two, the power of many. Look, even that. You know what, Steve? Agatha episode wasn't that bad. The second episode wasn't that great. That song is fucking annoying though. Yo, did you ever read anything about the Witch's Road in Marvel Comics, which is actually an interesting arc?
No. I've heard this word passed around when talking about Agatha, but I don't really mess with it.
Yeah, so they're going down the Witch's Road, and that song was much better than the Acolyte song. These lesbian witches are much more entertaining than the other lesbian witches. There's even a black lesbian witch. So we got some kids.
Did they let a darkie in? Look how advanced they are. Look at you, Agatha. Go for you. Look at you. Welcome to the 21st century, Agatha. You have a token character. I haven't seen that before. Here's how I want to explain it. Here, like, I know people are like, Mantis is a hater. I sit around hating on Marvel things. No, I'm not. I'm not like these guys on YouTube who make a killing talking trash about these projects. Here's what it is. I am a Marvel Comics fan. I'm a purist. And so I believe that every cent of the coffers that Marvel has to spend on projects, they are supposed to make comic accurate adaptations for my enjoyment. And so when something is not comics accurate, characters, even down to their costumes, are not correct, their powers are not correct, their stories are not correct, I have no freaking patience for it. So when I see Echo, and I'm like, okay, Echo's a ninja who can copy anyone, she's very charming, and instead they're like, well, in this one, she's a Native American chick who summons the spirits of ancient female feminists. I take umbrage of it, sir. And so when I see some ancient old hag like Agatha is now a young hottie having a lesbian affairs and running around with her homegirls, a sorority of witches, characters none of which are from the comics, I look at it and I say that is $200 million they could have spent on a comics accurate show or movie. That is an X-Men movie they could have made with that money.
Right.
You know, that is a WandaVision sequel they could have made with that money. That is a Vision Quest they could have made with that money.
Right.
And they don't do. Instead, they've got this, and so.
But it's the gayest Marvel show ever made.
Oh, okay. That'll get me there, motherfucker. Have you met me? Have you met me? Not that there's anything wrong with the gays. I love you guys. You guys fancy dressers, great at singing, which makes sense why they were singing in this. Their women are excellent woodworkers, but for the most part, that's not gonna be a thing that gets me to watch it, right?
Right. Okay.
And that's just how I am. And so remember when everyone was saying that, everyone was cool with Hawkeye. Everyone's like, Hawkeye's all right. Hawkeye's all right. I'm like, he doesn't wear his cowl, so it's not Hawkeye.
If he had put the tiara on, would that have?
It's a cowl, a freaking cowl. Okay.
Would that have changed it for you?
there's a couple of things that were a requirement, but yes, if he was more comic book accurate, I would watch the hell out of it. I love Hawkeye.
Yeah, no, I get you, man. Again, not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Interesting to say the least. Now, would I have preferred this? Aubrey Plaza is the baddie, though. She's basically Emerald Warlock from the comics. Yes, she's a strange, dangerous-looking woman. Like she's she's the type.
I think she is either Mephisto or a servant of Mephisto. There
you go.
I haven't even seen it, but I know that she's some evil hot lesbian, and I was like, Mephisto.
There you go, starting this bullshit again, going down this fucking road again.
Here's the thing: if we guess Mephisto for every project that comes out, eventually we're gonna be right. Right?
Well, I mean, he is announced as a character. If they still go through with that, I didn't like the casting of Borat playing Mephisto, but I watched it, man. Not that bad. I have not started The Penguin yet, though, which is getting all types of praise right now, man. People are loving this.
I'm not gonna do it for the same reasons. For the same reasons. You see how consistent I am? Manly mafia show. Lesbians in the woods, I equally hate them. And so here's what it is: the Penguin is the aristocrat Oswald Cobblepot that was thrown away by his parents because of his deformities, and he would later on come back, gain revenge, take over the mafia, and be in charge of the Red Triangle Gang. That is who the Penguin is. I don't know who this motherfucker is. This is Tony Soprano's brother. And so here's what I'm saying. I get it. I would love to. So if they marketed Tony Soprano's brother, I would watch it.
Right.
They're calling this guy the Penguin. I'm not going to watch it. You see where I'm going? And another thing I have with the comics inaccuracies, everything to do with the new Batman cannot I hated the new Batman, and whatever they're going to do in the sequel, I tell you, this is the one that's going to break everyone. A ton of people are on its side. This is going to reveal that Matt Reeves is an idiot, doesn't know what he's doing. I'm telling you.
Okay.
But there's only a number of times that you can make a gritty, realistic, dark version of Batman, which is already dark and gritty, you fucking idiots, that they can only do it so many times before you realize this is the same movie or recycled crap I've seen before. Here's what they need to do, which they never do. I want to see a comics accurate Batman. I want to see him go up against a Mr. Freeze with with a cybernetic armor and a freeze ray.
With the bowl on his head and everything?
Yeah. Obviously make it look cool, make it look cool, like the Arkham games make him look cool. There's a way to make him look cool, but I want to see him go up against Clayface, an actual shapeshifter.
Yeah,
and in Matt Reeves and these gritty, realistic guys, he'll be Clayface, but he just puts on masks.
No,
that's not what I want to see.
You know, we were
like in this last Batman. You know what was the most offensive thing about the latest Batman?
What's going on?
The most offensive part was that they had Batman use doors.
Oh yeah, what was he doing?
I was literally offended in the theater watching that. I was like, Batman does not use doors. He breaks into your window and he kicks your ass. He does not use a door. He doesn't knock on a door. So in retrospect, though, don't you kind of miss Ben Affleck, man? I'm telling you, to this day, man. To this day, I remember when I went to go see Batman v Superman in the theater. Shout out to the AMC theater in Burbank. Oh yeah,
I'm sitting with my buddy, and there's the scene that so many people just kind of glossed over in the theater, right? Remember when Batman's chasing the bad guys in the Batmobile, and he pulls out the Gatling guns? Now, we're used to Batman. Whenever guns come out of that, whether it's the comic or any movie scene, he's shooting tires. Maybe he shoots the lamp. I mean, Michael Keaton's Batman did kill a bunch of people. I don't know if you caught that in all the movies. I went back and watched it. I was like,
he does. Yeah, absolutely.
Shit out of people. That scene where Batman kills someone, I was like, did Batman just kill that dude? And then it just kept happening. But it all culminated with one of the only real representation we've ever gotten of Batman fight scene up until the Flash movie, where he beat the dog shit out of those guys in that warehouse. That scene is absolutely amazing. And
It's one of the best superhero movie like scenes ever. I would actually say I would put it up there. But you know what's why it's able to happen? He has a martial arts level, which is not realistic. He uses gadgets, which aren't real and could never happen.
Right.
And that together is a comic. That is a comic book fight scene.
Yeah.
That's what makes that different from John Wick or something, right? And that's what I want to see, and that's what you're making such a great argument for why Batfleck it would have made a better Batman movie.
Oh, 100%
than the one we ended up getting, the super realistic one. Which honestly, I don't even think the Batman in the latest Batman even wins any fights. I don't remember him ever winning. Or kicking ass.
What?
Other than the gang in the beginning,
yeah,
he beats up the gang members, but later on he keeps taking L's.
Bro, can we just be honest about something? If anyone ever gets beat the way he beat that one gangbanger, you're dead. There's no way that guy is alive after that beating, bro. Unless he was just like punching him in the leg or something like that. Bro.
No, you're absolutely right. But like later on in the movie, he's losing to gangsters and stuff. It was like weird.
Yeah, no, that movie's all right. I feel like yeah, go for it.
Matt says, yeah, I'm of the opinion that Matt Reeves doesn't understand Batman. I don't even think he even likes Batman. I would agree. Batman lost that entire movie. And like I said, he copied the movie 7, and then he put a little bit of Nolan Batman in there.
Yeah.
It's like a sprinkle of it. I'm telling you, he can't pull that off a second time.
No.
People are going to turn on him next movie. That is my prediction. Well, Shaolin says, this is why I don't like when they do super hyper realistic Batman. It's whack. Yeah, exactly. Batman doesn't even do any detective work in the Batman. Everyone does the work for him. I agree. Another thing is Batman didn't know Spanish. That's the craziest thing I've ever seen. Batman speaks like 7 languages. And this Batman that they have, he gets confused between Italian and Spanish.
Well, clearly he's racist, right? He's just like, I don't speak Ecuadorian.
You know what? I bet you anything Matt Reeves is like, realistically, a rich white dude wouldn't bother with Spanish.
Yeah. I don't like that there's no mention of his training, man. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. I don't want to camp here forever because I do want to talk about something which we can't visually represent tonight. So let's just get it right out of the way.
Here's what I was thinking. We could put up the trailer, but instead of playing it, we could like jump around just to have visuals.
You could turn the volume. You can mute it if you want, and just have it playing in the background. It's the music that's getting copyrighted.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's because it's the Pixies. Before I say this, I don't know that for sure, but it's clearly playing "Where's My Mind," which I had a nice little debate with my wife about. I don't know who the fuck James Blunt is, but my wife's like, "Oh, they're playing that James Blunt song." I'm like, "No, that's the Pixies." She's like, "No, it's a James." And she's like, "It's a James Blunt song." I'm like, "No." Pixies.
Yeah, sorry, Mrs. Hold Up, but that is the Pixies.
No, she looked it up because she doesn't believe a word I say, and then she's like, "Well, there's some controversy." I'm like, "There's no controversy. Everyone knows who made that song."
Yo, man, I just had that fight.
What fight?
With a certain woman. I'm telling her something about something, and she starts Googling it in front of me. And I was like, you don't believe me? I lost it. I lost my mind because I thought it was so. Here's what if you're going to Google to see if someone's telling you the truth, do it behind their back. You can do it right in front of me and claim you love me. You don't love me. You don't even know what love is,
You're supposed to just take my word at face value, and then at least when you find out that I'm correct, fall to your knees and prostrate in front of me, right?
Because here's what I'm saying. Isn't that what men are trained to do and that we do to the women we love or care about? We're dating a woman, we're married to a woman or whatever. Our women say nonsense, and we go, yes, baby, yes, boo, I love you. And she walks away, and then you Google how you really do it, and you do what Google says and not what she said.
Yeah, and then you give her all the credit.
You give her all the credit later on at the party or whatever. You're like, and I would never be able to do that without my beautiful lady. Right? So the fact that it doesn't go both ways, it's
the fact that it doesn't Swifty. You know what I'm saying? I'm from now on, whenever we refer to something going both ways, I'm saying Swifty. I'm insinuating that Taylor Swift fans go both ways for the slow.
They do.
So Thunderbolts trailer, man. I got to be honest with you, and I think I've been honest about this before. I'm going to see this movie, right? With or without you. And I'm going to see it because they used the perfect formula to get the Steve in there. They played one of my favorite songs.
A song is what gets you in.
They played one of my favorite songs in the trailer. I love when they use B-level vigilantes in this capacity in any storytelling. And also, it's because...
Did you just say that? Did you really just say...
Yeah, that's why I like Suicide Squad. Everyone on the Suicide Squad, in my mind, is someone that should die in any major conflict. Not even a major conflict in DC.
But wait, hold on. You wouldn't, but you must admit that the C-level guys that they got for the Suicide Squad, both Suicide Squad movies, are a better lineup than this lineup.
No, I won't admit that because fucking if we break down the team from the second part, the only person that could hang with a Marvel character is the nigga that shot out bubbles out of his hands. The rest of those motherfuckers would die in the Marvel universe. Just think about that.
The polka dot man.
Yeah, polka dot man is like he's the only motherfucker.
Oh, what about King Shark? You didn't like King Shark?
King Shark? I mean, I liked him. If we're talking about in regards to let me have you clarify your question. Are we talking about can they beat the Thunderbolts, or are you talking about like enjoyment?
I would say from Suicide Squad 2, they can beat the Thunderbolts, I believe.
Okay, so this is where you're a shill for, and I'm going to point out your shillness for DC, right? I've been putting up with your bullshit on this side of the table for a long time in regards to DC, right? When it's been proven multiple times, some of the characters, I'll never forget how angry you got when they released that video of Wolverine versus Batman, and they were like, no prep time, straight up fight. And everyone universally agreed there is no way without prep time Batman is taking.
I agree with that.
You agreed with it after a month. You were so livid when I sent you that video.
I have no memory of what you're talking about, so it probably didn't happen.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, I'll admit, yeah, Batman without prep time cannot beat Wolverine. No way.
Yeah.
But I'm saying...
Yeah, go ahead. Use your fallacy.
I'm saying in this, if you're telling me if Bloodsport, Peacemaker, King Shark, Harley Quinn, and King Shark fought these losers, you think they'd lose to these guys?
So here's the ultimate trump card.
Drunk Russian.
We all know first and foremost that Sentry is Bob. So yes. They're going to lose that fight.
Actually, I forgot about him. No, they are going to lose that fight. And they also had Ratcatchers, who's pretty powerful, but still not going
See, there's that DC bullshit. The bitch that...
Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, what about that Suicide Squad plus Superman versus these guys?
But Superman wouldn't team up with them in this. You don't even follow the rules of comics, man.
We're just trying to make equal fights right now. Here's what I'm saying. Minus Bob, these other guys can't handle themselves.
Huh?
Minus Bob, they can't handle themselves.
Okay, so let's look at it. We got U.S. Agent, right? U.S. Agent in the comics. No. U.S. Agent is more than capable.
We're talking about MCU right now.
MCU, even U.S. Agent with the super serum, he's going to body. Your man Peacemaker got beat up by a midget flipping around eating Doritos.
Yes, he did for comedic reasons, but he's a killing machine. He's an absolute killing machine.
The only one that makes it out of that fight alive would probably be Idris Elba, Polka Dot Man, and maybe the Rat Bitch. Shark Man is definitely going to die. You know why he's going to die? Because he's adorable. And adorable things don't last in crossover fights.
That is a crazy statement. Matt says Taylor Swift is a servant of the devil.
Oh, 100%.
I think the Thunderbolts looks good, but it looks too small. Like it's made for TV. Yeah, it kind of looks CW to me, actually.
So that's one. It does not look like a CW show. And two, I could agree with the smallness of scale, but it definitely doesn't look like a CW show.
Matt says, do you think they'll do the Void in this movie? Actually, I honestly think Void will end up being the end boss of the movie.
I hope they don't blow the load that quickly because the Void actually. But wait, we're talking about the MCU here. Why would they actually represent something correctly, right? The Void, is
Right. Who knows what's gonna
unstoppable,
happen?
unstoppable force. But yeah, man, I'm watching it, and it's like I got a $10 theater near me, so there's no skin off my back to go see this. But here we have White Witch. What do they refer to her as? The White Widow or Blonde Widow?
She's gonna be white. She's just gonna be the new Black Widow. She's just like the next.
Yeah,
the
she's
next
meeting
one.
with Guardian here, man. They're gonna have like a.
He's the most useless character, man.
He's hilarious though. He's absolutely hilarious. They meet up. All of this stuff just reminds me. Actually, you know what I was gonna tell you, man. This almost seems like a fake James Gunn movie in many ways. Did you get that vibe?
Well, yeah, because they're clearly trying to rip off Suicide Squad in every level. There's so many different ways you could go with the Thunderbolts, and they decided to take the most Suicide Squad-y version of the team. Which is true, they did that in the comics, but still, I just think there was better things they could do. Bucky, and
There's your boy, Captain Freedom himself. You love this guy, man.
I do love him. I do love him. I do think King Shark would eat him alive, but.
King Shark almost got eaten alive by a bunch of little starfish, didn't he? That was fucking sad in that movie, man. Remember
that was adorable
when he was like
befriends them
and he started attacking him in a way.
And so, look, a lot of people would think that this is Avengers Tower.
No, I don't know where they are, to be honest.
People think that Avengers Tower is abandoned, that they're meeting there. I've heard this theory come up. And so another thing, why do they make Ghost and Taskmaster's new costumes make them look similar? Why do they look like they're siblings? Or
you know what? I'll take their new
design.
costumes over their old ones because the old Taskmaster costume was too cumbersome for it to turn out to be a chick, right? And then Ghost, I thought she was an underutilized character in that Ant-Man movie. She was actually my favorite part of that movie. If I'm gonna be real with you, bro. Like,
I don't mind. Actually, I don't mind her. So real quick, I think that in the Thunderbolts, I would keep the new Black Widow, Bucky, U.S. Agent, and Ghost. And the rest I'd trade out for. I'd have Baron Zemo. I'd probably have Songbird. I might put the Abomination in there.
You know what would have been great, man? Yeah, so here would have been my Thunderbolts team, right? But you got to remember, we can't kill villains off, right? It would have been Killmonger, the new Black Widow, Bucky, right? Because there would have been a reason for Bucky to be around to keep an eye on Killmonger. I would definitely keep Ghost, but I'd probably also would want to have, maybe Baron Zemo in this motherfucker.
Zemo, yes, absolutely. They are missing a obviously pivotal character, and that's Zemo. And it's so bizarre that they make a Thunderbolts movie without him. You know what I mean? It's like making a Justice League movie without Superman.
Bro, and here's the crazy thing that what I did enjoy about the trailer is there's a lot of great chemistry here. I love that. I used to be one of those people that hated the joking in the MCU movies, but I'll take anything over what we've gotten, and I actually love the jokes, man. And it's coming out in May, and my birthday's in May, so I should be able to do what the fuck I want, bro. I'm going to see this goddamn movie.
And when you come crying to me about how lame it is, I will be there to hug you and be your bro. You know
here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna sneak and see it like you always do on the low. This motherfucker's insidious. He sneaks out and sees these movies and just casually says it on an episode of Fanboy while he's inebriated. And he's like, "Oh, did I say that night? I have no recollection of it. That means it didn't."
Yo, why? Do you think this is me? You think this is me hot fire?
I don't know. I'm intrigued.
I would say not according to this trailer because there's no big action set pieces in this trailer. I don't know why.
I'm intrigued, man. I'm intrigued. I'm gonna go check it out. But I would agree with your skepticism, right? Got to be cautious, right? Just because Deadpool and Wolverine was dope doesn't mean that the new Captain America movie is gonna be dope. Doesn't mean that this movie is gonna be dope.
Incognito Burrito, what up? Holler.
I'm going to, I'm gonna be cautiously optimistic.
What do you think about this rumor that Bucky is a senator or a congressman or something?
I think it's idiotic, but
that's it's bizarre. It's a bizarre
call.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
But
that's
like
all
I said, there's nothing in this trailer that's really like leaping out at me and being like,
well, the
I
trailer was
gotta
also
see this.
leaked 1,000 times over, so I wasn't surprised by anything in it. I really dig this scene right here when they're fighting, man. Like one of my biggest complaints about Suicide Squad was that it was too campy. And in fact, the pivot into the second Suicide Squad from campy to serious was too fucking jarring, man. When
You think?
when Starro fucking dies in a good way. When he dies and he says his death vow and he's just like, I was alone in the abyss hibernating.
Right.
I was like,
Yeah.
I'm like, it's COVID. It's too much, bro. I fucking came here for a good time.
No, you know what was the freaking moment of like, what the hell are they doing to me right now? When Rick Flag has a knife fight with Peacemaker, and Peacemaker ends up killing him, and then as he's dying, he starts coughing up blood, and he goes, Peacemaker, what a fucking joke, and he just dies, and you're like,
bro, let us not forget that Peacemaker and fucking Idris Elba's character, they killed an entire village of rebels. Remember that shit? You think they're killing bad guys and they're killing fucking freedom fighters.
Right. That movie, I love that movie. I cannot shit on the movie. I cannot shit on that crew.
Oh, Matt says, yeah, I'm annoyed because this leaked and Disney blocked my trailer reaction. Fuckers, I hope their stock goes down 2 points for them.
Yes, I do too. That's the way to talk, Matt. That's the way to talk. That's why I was reluctant to play this today because like a lot of YouTubers are complaining that they're getting struck or whatever.
Well, yeah, they're playing with the music, but I can't like. I gotta get some fucking solid rules on this shit, man. Who the fuck gets to react to shit? It's got to be the music, bro. It's got to be the music.
Yeah, I agree with you. It probably is the music, and so but like, I just feel like who is
just leave it right here because you can actually click on our next topic from here, and you don't have to do any extra work.
Oh,
who's going to see this movie? You are. You and I are. We're going to see this fucking movie.
Here's what I'm saying. You and a select others are going to be the canaries in the coal mine. Right. You guys are going to go forward. And if you tell me it's awesome, then I'll go.
Listen, I can promise you this. It's going to make more money than fucking Transformers. That much I can get.
Well, I mean, it pretty much has to. I mean, right? So obviously, that's not saying anything. That's putting it up. It's not the same thing. But like, I certainly don't think this will be a flop, but I don't care. I don't really care about the money situation. What I really care about is it a good movie? Is it a return to form for the MCU? This does not look like it's appropriate for phase, what are we in, 5?
Yeah.
That looks like a phase 1, maybe phase 2 movie.
Bro, hear me out on this, right, man? If this movie strikes all the chords with the appropriate people the way it's supposed, or in you appropriately, if it's a movie that isn't going to preach or pander to any certain demographic, which we don't have any evidence that it's going to do that, and it's a straight up action flick, I think it is a return to form for a Marvel movie, right? If this movie is just what people want to see, which is an escape from the reality of the dumbass conversation over Kamala Harris's fucking ethnicity.
You're taking this personal, man.
I'm not taking it personal. It's just like we talked about it in the green room. We'll always talk about it, but both sides are looking idiotic arguing about this.
I absolutely agree with you 1,000% that
it's
a stupid topic to keep going on, and it's it's just interesting that obviously on our docket is to talk about Janet Jackson. Just because such a heavy hitter would say that is kind of crazy.
Oh yeah, listen to me. Just hear me out, man. All I'm going to see this movie for is action, right? I'm not expecting it to further the story. I want to go be entertained. And if it manages to entertain me with characters that are entertaining, right? Individually, minus Taskmaster, everyone on this roster, I've had a good experience with. I just want them to continue that.
Matt says, I'm going to go see this movie. I need the content.
Exactly.
But Matt says, will this make $1 billion?
No, it won't.
I promise you it won't go close to $1 billion.
But wouldn't it be great if it made $1 billion and then we had to watch Mantis start a video out like...
So wait, hold on. Here's what I'm saying. I always reserve the right to
Of
admit when I'm
course.
wrong about a movie that I don't know anything about. Like, for instance, notice they haven't even shown Sentry do anything. For all I know, they're hiding the good scenes, and that's all I'm saying. They needed to show us one cool scene, but for all I know, they're gonna get Sentry so right. It's gonna be so good. I would love to eat my words. I would love to admit that I was wrong about this movie.
Oh, and
But
I know
as of
you
right
would-
now, like if this is like if someone is like after seeing this trailer, will you pay money to see it? The answer is no. They're not showing me anything. Now, if Sentry is actually flying around and being Sentry and like in the comics accurate costume, I'm there.
what this should have been, I could have made this movie a success. You know how I could have got you hooked on this movie? Real simple. Real simple. If I was doing this movie, the first thing you would see would not be the Marvel logo. It would maybe be some narration from one of the characters from some part of the movie that wouldn't give away any of the plot, but it would be a red R coming across it. If this was a hard R, red R movie, you would be totally intrigued, and that's where they're dropping the ball. We have to get past the point of thinking that every movie has to be family friendly in the MCU. You dig what I'm saying, man?
I absolutely agree. And actually, if there is a movie that should be rated R, it's this one.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about a group of assassins,
Murderers, scoundrels.
Yeah, scoundrels. Where is it? Where do they show you it? Oh, here we go.
What up, D?
What up, D? So take a look. Have we talked about this theory? D is in his house, and it's always a great pleasure when D comes. So look, check this out.
Right.
The asterisk at the end, and so you know what people are thinking about the asterisk, right?
No, break this down for me. What's going on there, man?
So basically, the belief is that they're holding back a subtitle. It's going to be Thunderbolts, something else, and some people think a lot of people think it's going to be say the Thunderbolts, like rise or beginning or something like that of the Dark Avengers. And so there's a theory that at the end of this movie, all the surviving characters are gonna take on a costume, like in Dark Reign of an Avenger.
So I don't want to touch that with a 100-foot pole because I don't want to raise expectations. You know what it should be, that asterisk, right? And I'm going to give it to you. This is how Steve would hook you in, Mantis. Thunderbolts are going to die is what should be next. This should be a movie where all these, no, dig this, man. What if all these characters came up against Bob, right?
Right.
And the Sentry being not even going to the void, because he can actually do pretty screwed up shit when he's just regular Sentry and he's not in his wits. What if they all just got brutally murdered by the Sentry? That dog would hunt, man.
No, it would. It absolutely would. I mean, I doubt they're gonna kill Bucky, but you know, like.
Oh man, but wouldn't it be great to see his arm get ripped off? Wouldn't it be great to see someone get Sentried in here? You know what I'm talking about when he does his patented move and he rips them in half. You know who else should have been in here? Ares. Ares should be in this movie. Ares should be in this movie.
I agree. Honestly, I agree with you that the expectations would be really high. If they all took on costume identities from Avengers, like Captain America, Hawkeye, Iron Man, and stuff like that, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
I would eat my word. I would see it just for that scene.
Bro, you know who else could have been in here, man? Bullseye. Just roll those characters in from Netflix, man. Just roll them in.
So, do you know another way other than the Baron? Obviously, Baron Zemo should really be the top Thunderbolt guy, right? But you know, there's another way that I really like the Thunderbolts.
Okay.
Do you know Thunderbolts Red?
Heard of it.
So yeah, there was a team they called Thunderbolts Red, and so it was the Red Hulk, Deadpool, the Punisher, and he's like wearing like a red skull, Elektra. And Agent Venom. I don't love Agent Venom, but the point is that team would have been amazing.
Yeah.
I think they should have thought. Here's what it is. I think another problem I'm having with this is I don't think they were creative with the villains they put in there. It almost feels like they were just like, well, we have these characters lying around. Let's just put them in here.
Yeah. Well, that's a byproduct of the failing, the portion that failed in this phase of Marvel, right? The disconnection of the entire multiverse saga, what appears to be no real direction. I'm gonna say
Elektra and Punisher would be freaking amazing in this group, but Deadpool would be amazing in this group.
I could also, man. Listen, man. I could also make this better, man. You know, I like making the fanfic in my head, right? So, you know that character Blade that they were supposed to introduce, like 4 years ago?
Yes.
I've daydreamed, and Matt, I want you to pay attention right now. I've daydreamed about this Thunderbolts and how I would do it, man. I actually would have picked up from where Blade Trinity ended, and imagine the reveal would be that instead of Bucky, right, their good guy character, because there's always a good guy character on here who doesn't deserve to be on these type of teams.
I absolutely agree with you. Yeah.
What if it would have been Blade, Wesley Snipes' Blade? They catch him after Trinity, after he fucking kills all those people in the coroner office, like he did in the uncut version, and it reveals that they've been holding Blade hostage for all these years. That dog hunts, man. But
that would be good. I would pay for that movie right there.
that dog hunts, man.
But you are right that Thunderbolts always does have that, and so for a while there, it was Hawkeye. Yeah. Hawkeye got put on the Thunderbolts because he murdered a villain or whatever, and then later on it was Bucky. Bucky gets put on there in the comics. So there is they always have like one good guy to keep them on the straight and narrow or whatever.
Yeah.
It is fascinating, but I would love to see them think out of the box of the characters, but we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong, and I'll tell you right now, I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, man. And it's funny you bring up the Ryan Coogler Blade movie because we're gonna watch that trailer next. Right. Okay, so here's the thing about this, right? Actually, Mantis, could you just hold the audience, man? My poor dog. I hope you guys can hear. She's whimpering over here, and I think I need to let her out. I'll be right.
Okay, yeah. No worries. So Dee is laughing her ass off. It's always a pleasure when Dee comes. That's what she said. Very, very good, Matt. They can kill Taskmaster. You know what's crazy about the Taskmaster thing? Taskmaster was the worst spin or twist to a movie that's already not liked, and yet they doubled down on having Taskmaster in a movie. Everyone hated the Taskmaster reveal in Black Widow. Some would even say it's the worst part of Black Widow, a movie that's not considered very great. It doesn't hold high regard. So why would they bring that character back? It's totally insane. These aren't villains, they're anti-heroes. I agree. Speaking of Blade, you guys see the trailer? Oh, we're about to put on The Sinner.
Yeah. I'm deeply interested in this movie, man. If you want to run it, I'm ready.
Yeah, Matt says that's a good idea, Steve, but Marvel doesn't think that cool. Yeah.
No, they don't.
He says, yes, man, it's the worst. Yeah, Taskmaster was the worst part of Black Widow. Why would they put them back in another movie? Why would they do that? We hated Taskmaster not being the real Taskmaster. We hated that woman. They're like, she's an abused woman. She looked like a man. I don't get it. And so it was so stupid. And then they're gonna force me to relive this.
Yeah. Your trauma is not yours to hold on to. I want you to relive it every day.
God damn it, he's so right. Let's see what this can we put the audio on this one?
Yeah, we can put the audio.
Okay, guys, we're gonna get some audio. Where's the audio?
It's playing. It's audio. We can hear it.
You can hear it?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't.
I've been all over this world. I seen men die in ways I ain't even know was possible. Love you, brother. Be careful. I will. With all the things that I've seen.
That shit looks fucked up.
Yeah, no, it really does.
I ain't ever seen no
Looks
demons,
good.
no ghosts, no magic. Till now. Now get back inside. Let me in, man.
This part's fucked up.
Some weird shit going on out here. You keep dancing with the devil. One day he's gonna follow you home.
Yeah, that shit looks crazy, bro.
Yeah, it looks good. What is this coming over here? Matt said this looks mid as shit. No way.
Oh man, what the?
Yeah, what are you talking about, bro? For being a vampire movie, they show fuck all for vampires. I admit there should have been more vampire stuff, but it does look like there's a lot of horror in it.
Right.
You know, and so I bet you. Here's what I'm saying. You know how they're obviously holding off Sentry for a future trailer, a trailer closer to the movie.
Right.
I bet you this same thing for The Sinner. I bet you they're waiting. They're not going to they don't want to reveal it's vampires until it's way closer.
Yeah, it's
Because
funny.
remember, normies don't follow these movies like we do. So a normie's going to watch a trailer and not really be sure what's going on.
I think a normie's going to have the same reaction that Sister D had. I already love it because Michael B. Jordan is in it. Like, yeah, that's the women are going for the guns.
It's been a while since we've seen him in anything.
Yeah. Because he's a reoccurring character in the comic book franchise that they decide to kill, and then they brought him back for the sequel in a Vision world.
That was the worst. I gotta say this. I'm sorry. People try to play it off. People don't want to admit it. Wakanda Forever was a horrible movie.
It was, man.
It was messed up on so many
If
levels.
you're a racist, anti-black monster,
Like, yo, you know what's crazy? They kill Black Panther off screen, and they don't give us an explanation. They're like, he's just dead.
doesn't
And then-
you don't need an explanation. It's black. That's
Yeah,
it.
and then they go and kill his mom. So there's two funeral scenes, as if one funeral scene of Akira We Love wasn't enough. They had to have two different ones at different parts.
He's black. Which part don't you understand? Black, not black owned. Black mate, not black mate. Black people in it.
Because I'm blackity black.
I think this no
Wakanda disrespect. What?
Beck says I'm all for supernatural shit. Yeah, man, this movie looks like it's gonna be interesting for sure, man. I don't know what's up with the twin Michael B. Jordan. I do know that when this movie first got announced, everyone's like, it's amazing that Ryan Coogler, the man who should have directed the Blade movie, but I guess they didn't want to typecast him as making too many black movies, did, a movie about vampires before Marvel could even get 5 white people to sit together for the Blade script.
So here's what it is. The rumor is that this was revenge for them not choosing him for Blade. And then they didn't do that, and then he was offered this, and he was like, "Yo, let me do this." If Marvel wants to get in my way of me making movies, fuck them. I'll go make my own. And more power to them.
More power to him, man. I'm gonna go check it out, man, because you got to diversify, man. I don't have any form of superhero fatigue at all. I don't think that's a real thing. I think Deadpool and Wolverine proved that. There is bad movie fatigue, but I do need to diversify my bonds, as RZA said. Gotta keep it spruced up. That's why I went to go see Alien Covenant or whatever that shit was. What was the last Alien movie? Romulus. That's why I went to go see that. I was like, gotta go see some other shit. I'm definitely for sure gonna go see this, man.
I'm absolutely gonna see it. Like, for instance, I was on the fence about Thunderbolts, but I'm definitely gonna watch The Sinner.
He's gonna watch the Thunderbolts too. I guarantee he's gonna sneak out and go see that shit after church. I guarantee. This man can't stay in the house on a Sunday.
You have so much
faith in you.
You have low willpower, man. You have low willpower.
Bro, you went to go see Eternals. I'm not saying anything that's not true.
I admit, I went to go see Eternals out of morbid curiosity. You know what? Turned out to be true. But that was before the MCU was garbage. it was only starting to become garbage, right?
Right. It was the beginning.
We had no confirmation.
All right. I assume at some point we got to get into Janet Jackson or what's remaining of her. Janet Jackson, unlike the robot that was with Ahsoka that had most of his original parts, has very few of her original parts left, but she's weighing into political space, and people are making a big deal out of nothing, as the media often does. Side note, since Cincy Star is in here, Cincy, at some point we got to talk about the Caitlin Clark situation, her saving the WNBA. That's right, I said it. Wasn't nobody interested in those lesbians into the white savior?
Oh man, yeah. You realize how many party fouls you just did? So she saved the WNBA. The white savior of the WNBA. Oh man, you were like, you were losing track of it. Like, damn, son. You got some explaining to do.
Oh man, they were like, she doesn't deserve to go to the Olympics. Not only smashes the Rookie of the Year stats, absolutely demolishes.
But the question is, like, the real question is how did this happen?
How did what happen?
Well, why were female players not living up to their expectations?
So here's the interesting thing, man. I've been a basketball fan for as long as I can remember, right? In basketball, the NBA has had its lulls. Now, when I say lulls in interest or lulls in superstardom, right? And that's just a fact. You can run the tapes, and there have been lulls, but that doesn't mean that the league wasn't making money, right? And then when you look at when Michael Jordan came into the league, coming on the Bulls at the time, there was a lull and excitement in regards to people were getting ready to step down. You had great players, but you had the superstar rookie come on, and he received very similar treatment in a certain sort of way. The Caitlin Clark situation is interesting only to me because it's not anything that she did that made people have the response that they had. The response is what always interests me. And when you have a player in a failing league where you have players demanding that the NBA further subsidize the league, and that's not taking anything away from their talent, but there just wasn't any superstars that could pull the laity in, right? Hell, there weren't any superstars that could pull in fans from the NBA. And then you have a player that finally does it. And it's not so much the players that I've found their reaction. That it is what it is. It's the commentators that made this whole thing interesting, Mantis. I could show you reel upon reel of ESPN commentary on the Caitlin Clark situation where you just, and we lost Mantis, where we just had people completely shitting on this young lady for coming into the league off of a successful college endeavor. Absolutely amazing to me. And there's no other way to explain it. There's no other way to explain the Caitlin Clark. You have commentators who played basketball, and then commentators who I find to be the most useless, who don't play basketball or any sport, but can't remain objective. And this all boiled down to, does she have the skill? And she does. We'd be having a different conversation if she didn't smash the rookie records, if she didn't smash all-time records, but she did that. And now it's so interesting to me to see people double back and they're like, well, it was more the noise. This is the word that was used to describe it. It was more the noise around the conversation of Caitlin Clark. But that's not Caitlin Clark's fault. The girl's got skills. So what are you hating on her for? That's the shit I was trying to figure out. And every time I bring this up, it's always the race conversation. I'm like, all right, I get it. I get what you're saying. I will acknowledge the racial component portion of it. You hear me acknowledging it. But she's got fucking talent and she's got star power. Bro, here's your job if you're on the opposite team. You are supposed to capitalize on her star power by shutting her the fuck down when you play against her.
Right. And so who she did have a rival. What's the chick's name?
Huh?
She had a rival for a short time.
Reese.
Yes.
Let me talk to you about Reese, right? So she's got a Reese, the triple double queen, right? Double queen.
Mm-hmm.
Are you all right? Here's the deal, right? This is a funny thing about statistics in sports, especially in basketball. I can have a rebounding record, Mantis, because I have the most rebounds in the league. Now, allow me to throw a caveat in there. If a majority of my rebounds come from my own missed shots, does that make me a special player?
No, of course not.
So you got some. It's an interesting topic.
Wait, hold on. Is that literally how it was calculated for her?
Bro? Yes, it's one of the portions. I watched this woman get a double and rebounds be a part of it after also watching her miss 4 shots in a row underneath the board. We have a special place for those type of players if you play in the streets or hell, if you played high school basketball. It's called the bench, right? You can't hit a fucking shot underneath the board at your height. There's something, but
right.
Reese is playing her part. And I love that she said, I will play the role of the villain. Because here's the deal. Like I said, since he can verify this, Michael Jordan was a verifiable star. Don't forget that we still had Bird, Johnson, and all these people playing. But when Jordan came up against the Pistons, my brother, do you know what they did? They're like, oh, you're a star? Are you a star? Are you a star? Are you going to be the next big thing? They shut his ass down. What was it? Since he not 4 years, maybe 3 or 4 years in a row, they shut the Bulls down. Yes, with a lot of physicality and a lot of fucking dirty playing, but they did what they were supposed to do. That's what you were supposed to do. That's why I didn't give any of those women a hard time when they got the flagrants or the technicals on Caitlin Clark.
Right. There was a ton of that happening.
Yeah, that's basketball.
And the news presented it as Caitlin Clark is getting bullied, and I was like, "It's called sports, yo. That's called sports."
Yeah, that part I won't get into. But what I will get into is all these bitter bitches like, "What about me? I've been here for years. What about me?"
And that's what my comment right now was. Cincy Star up right now. He says she does. The problem was how they dismissed all the people who are already there. Now, here's what I'm saying. True, even if they've been playing there for a while. My man Steve is right. They need to rep. If they need to shut her down to prove that they're worthy of that praise and that stardom. But it's so funny. I do admit that this is white girl syndrome when they're like the news, ABC News. I do Good Morning America, and every morning they're like, these girls in the WNBA are bullying boy Caitlin Clark. And I was like, no, that is sports, man.
But here's the thing, right? So there's enough culpability to go around here, right? So let's say you're the star player coming on my team, Mantis, right? It's my job as your teammate, especially if I'm playing power forward. Yo, if someone shoulder checks you on the court, I don't care if they just got a technical. When their guard is pushing up the court on the next play, guess who's catching the elbow?
Right.
It's not just baseball. I'm like, oh, we're playing like that now?
Yeah, street ball is in effect. Street ball is in effect. Let's do it. He says he's about to disrespect Angel Reese. Yeah,
listen. Angel Reese was disrespected by her own fans. Man, I watched these people sexualize that poor young lady. And Mantis, I don't know if you noticed about me. I'm a feminist. I don't know if you know that. I'm a male feminist. And seeing all these black men sexualize that poor young lady when she wore that scantily clad outfit that showed off her derriere, it disgusted me. It really did disgust me. Shout out to Caitlin Clark, man. She did her part, right? Everyone said it was just hype. I don't know how you could believe that, seeing her college career coming into the WNBA. To all the people that are having the conversation, what about the players before them? I'm sorry to be the one to say it. What the fuck about them? They didn't bring anyone in.
They didn't rep. They didn't rep.
What? So Caitlin Clark fans are supposed to feel guilty because they are Caitlin Clark fans and they weren't fans. That's how this shit works. If you don't get the laity in, that's not Caitlin Clark's fault, and it's not really the fans' fault. Bro, I was at work the other day, and a family showed up to my store, and they were like, "We set a pickup for. I think we're ordering the last Caitlin Clark cards." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And I bent down to their little white daughter, and I'm like, "We sold those cards already. We canceled your order." Because we did. They sold out in a matter of seconds, man. They literally.
Why did you cancel their order?
Because we didn't have any more. We had to cancel it. What are we going to keep them?
Oh, they ordered it and there weren't any.
Yeah.
Okay. You're a monster. You're going to hell, and you're a traitor to the black race for liking Caitlin Clark. And I'm about to say something. I'm about to admit, because I'm not a huge basketball fan, but I'm going to put in my 2 cents, and it's going to be the most Mantis thing I've ever said in my life. What I can't stand is that the news constantly refers, when people are criticizing Caitlin Clark, they're like, everyone's on her side because she's a pretty little white girl. Well, I've got news for you. She is little and she is white, but she is not pretty in any stretch of the word. And I just, we should not automatically assign that qualifier onto any old person. Very talented girl, gets those three-pointers. Love you. Not going to be doing the swimsuit edition anytime soon.
I mean, in this atmosphere, they'll force that upon you, and that's when the conversation will change, man. I will say also another thing is what I found to be a really interesting conversation is because she is not a part of the LGBTQ community. Now, I can't say this is a widespread one. You have to go looking on Black Twitter or those spaces on the internet. But I love the fact that she has a fiance, a male fiance, and it cracks me up because people are like.
Some LGBT groups are mad at the show Fallout because there's not enough LGBT representation, and they demand that the main female character experience women. I am deadly serious.
I know you are. I'm not laughing.
I'm like, what is wrong with you people?
No, it's crazy shit, man. It is.
Yeah, I got bad news for you guys. Sometimes shit just isn't gay. It just isn't. And so when they want representation on these shows, they're like, well, how come in this show with the supernatural detectives there's no gay people? Maybe there should be gay people in their extra dimensional realm. And I was like, maybe in this particular case there's just no gays around.
Maybe it's because most of Supernatural happened in small towns in like Boise or Idaho. Well, that doesn't seem to be a thing.
Matt says, Matt is right. She looks like a man with a wig and red lipstick on. I was more thrown by Steve saying he's a male feminist. That's gross. Don't worry. He's fronting. He is the farthest thing from a male feminist that there could be.
I remember
As a matter of fact, I think that he shattered the confidence and hopes and dreams of 3 young women on the way to this cast, yelling at them, and then telling them to make him a sandwich. So you don't have to worry about his status. Caitlin Clark looks like if Miranda Sings was a man. Yes. She does have a Miranda Sings type of vibe to her.
Yeah, man. Oh, that was good fun right there.
Rico says, "Hey, gay is gay." You made an astute observation.
Yeah, it's sometimes there's just no gay present. It's like, and then let's not forget that there's some discrepancy even within the gay community about representation. Some gays are very upset when they have in the lesbian sector, if it's 2 feminine women together and there's no stud representation. Other people in that community are upset when it's only the L word representation and not enough, man on man action.
Yeah, they actually hate. They apparently hate on. They be hating on lipstick lesbians. They hate it in television because here's what. Let's get real.
Why are you gay?
Mainstream television loves to have the representation in their show or movie.
Right.
2 lipstick lesbians.
Yes.
2 hot chicks who are very feminine who are into each other. Right.
Because
it's the most palpable.
Right. Yeah.
And groups be hating that. Groups really hate that shit.
Oh man, yo, as much as they love that show, oh, Miranda Sings. I remember this bride, man. She made millions and then got kicked
Yes.
off Netflix. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Miranda Sings not a biological woman?
No, she is. She's
okay.
actually a decent looking woman, but she just makes herself ugly with her makeup.
Yo, this show on Netflix had so many weird fetish undertones to me. Like, I think there is a community that sexualizes, as Mantis says, I believe there's a scientific word you use, ugly women is what you refer to them as. And like, but at any rate, speaking of weird shit, let's move on to Janet Jackson. And
Janet Jackson.
So, Janet Jackson, child star, younger sister of the legendary Michael Jackson, younger sister to the Jackson 5. She's had a successful career of her own. You can never accuse her of being LaToya Jackson, who was psychic up until the point where her husband threw a chair at her and the bitch had no idea it was coming towards her, right? Janet Jackson had some stuff to say or was asked a question for no reason about Kamala. Her name is pronounced Kamala.
I will pronounce it any fucking way I want. I'm not changing my pronunciation. I'm not changing the pronunciation that they accepted 4 years ago. Right? Kamala. Kamala. My girl Kamala. Are you coconut pilled? Yo, she's like some crazy clown the way she laughs, right?
I mean, actually, we got to put some respect on her name, man. The woman went to a historical black college. That's enough to earn you.
Why do I need to change the way I pronounce her name because she went to historical black college? What type of sense does that make?
I'm saying that if anything gets you in, it's going to a historical black college, man. For God's sakes, man. Get off your back, man. Just camel toe.
She's a narc. Okay, so and more people should have a problem with that. Like what a narc she was. She put away everyone for smoking weed.
Oh my goodness. Let's see what my boy ABL has to say. Anthony Bryan Logan with another video. It's my guy.
Apparently doesn't think that Kamala Harris is truly a black woman, and she rebuked the so-called apology that leaked on her behalf. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Bryan Logan, and today we got to talk about Janet Jackson apparently not believing that Kamala Harris is truly a black woman. Maybe her dad is white, maybe her mom is something else, and she has rebuked and kicked back and debunked a so-called apology that leaked on her behalf from a former PR person, manager, whatever that person wants to call themselves. Janet's actual team said, wait a minute now. We didn't apologize. She said what she said. She said,
yo, this is the most ridiculous thing I've heard in a long time. So to recap, guys, Kamala's like, I'm not Kamala. I'm sorry. Janet Jackson's like, I heard Kamala isn't black, right?
Right.
And everyone's offended. They flip out. That made the news. Then someone from her team reaches out to all the news and is like, she apologized. She's sorry. And that turned out to be a fake apology from someone who didn't have the authority to apologize on her behalf.
Right.
I mean, that's insane, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely insane, man. It's what else is insane, man? Well, play the video. I because I didn't watch it, so I want to get the full context.
What she said. She doesn't believe that Kamala Harris is truly a black woman. And as a matter of fact, her brother Randy is a manager and has been for a very long time, not this random person that put out this fake apology. And before we get into anything, rest in peace to their older brother, Tito Jackson, who died recently at age 70. And if you don't know who Janet Jackson is, which I'm sure, listen, I understand 99.999% of y'all know who Janet Jackson is. This is a world famous person, been that way for a very long time. She was a child star, actress, musician. She is Janet. I mean, everybody knows who Janet Jackson is, but you guys might be kind of young. Maybe you're not American, but just a brief intro into her before we get to the actual article. Now, of course, this is Janet Jackson, part of the world famous Jackson family, obviously the sister of Michael Jackson, one of the most famous people to ever walk planet Earth. So Janet still doing her thing. She's still out there. I'm not sure if she's still touring, performing. I don't know. But Janet is Janet. Okay. Everybody knows Janet Jackson. She does not believe Kamala Harris is truly a black woman, which is, in my humble opinion, the correct opinion to have. Okay. That's the correct opinion. Now, this is the article in which the story.
To quote our girl Bex, I will say this. I love Anthony Brian Logan. I absolutely love him. He's the colorist.
Oh,
he does not like light skins.
Yeah, he's married, and just for context, Anthony Bryant Logan is married to a dark-skinned sister, right?
Yeah,
he is as Southern black as you can get, man. Also, if you take a good look at this brother, he's in shape, man. So he's not some conservative you're just gonna run up on and be like, "Hey, Anthony," he will probably put 5 legal bullets in you if you run up on him. Like, Timberlands now.
Matt says, did you guys see Candace Owens' deep dive into Kamala's race? I didn't even know that happened.
I did see it. There was some birth certificates. Yeah, you know Candace. She went there, man. She went there.
She goes places, man. She goes places. The way the community just turned on Janet was just crazy to me.
Yeah, it's bound to happen.
Not with y'all quoting me.
Oh, absolutely. You are our resident gatekeeper. I don't know if you caught the episode of Dope Dynamics where we had to confer to Bex when Domingo, brother Domingo, wrote in the letter about hostility in the community. We couldn't figure out who he was talking to, so I had to make sure that he had the right to talk to it. And I was like, Bex, is Domingo? Is he with us?
Yeah,
is he with us? Bex said that he's an authentic black man.
Okay, good. Bex pretty much is like you said, the gatekeeper, and she will let us know.
Came out from The Guardian. This was published on Saturday, September 21st, 24. So let's check it out. You see the headline. This is about Michael, motherhood, and all of that. Now, deep in the article, we got to go all the way down here, all the way down to almost like the bottom. Okay. Here we go. So we all the way down in the weeds of the article here. Let's zoom in. Okay. Now you see this pull quote. You know what they supposedly said? Kamala Harris is not black. That's what I heard. Okay. Now check it out. On the record, she's saying about joining voices in protest to social justice, injustice, and pushing toward a world rid of color lines. I wonder where she stands on the forthcoming election. After all, I say America could be on the verge of voting in its first black female president, Kamala Harris. And then here's her quote. Well, you know what they supposedly said? She asked me. She's not black. That's what I heard. That she's Indian. She looks at me expectantly, perhaps assuming that I have Indian heritage. That's funny. Well, she's both, I offer. She doubles down. Her father's white. That's what I was told. I mean, haven't watched the news in a few days. She coughs. I was told that they discovered her father was white. Now, then the interviewer responds, I'm floored at this point. It's a well-known, I guess, fact. It's well known that Kamala Harris's father is a Jamaican economist, a Stanford professor who split from her Indian mother when she was 5. My mother understood very well that she was raising 2 black daughters, Harris wrote in her book, The Truth We Told, or Truth Behold. Now, listen. What does Jamaican got to do with anything? Jamaican is not the same as being Indian. When you're Indian, you typically are like an ethnic group, okay? But when you are Jamaican, that's just a nationality. It's like being American. So if you say somebody,
he's actually right, because a lot of people don't realize this. There's a lot of Irish people who are ethnically Irish who live in Jamaica, who are Jamaican.
Yeah,
so
it's. This conversation is so strange. I mean, can we pull up? Let me just see if I can pull up a picture of this woman's dad.
He's about to though. He's about to in the video.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which I actually do.
American.
Love that.
Are they automatically white? I think not. Although that's the majority population, it's not the only population. I'm an American, and we've been here since the boat, the 1700s. I could trace family back all the way to the boat. We've been here for 300, 400 years. So I'm an American, the same as a white American. The same as anybody born in this country. Same thing with Jamaica. Okay, it's not just black people in Jamaica. You got whites, Chinese, Indians like Kamala's mom. You got a biracial. You got a little bit of everything in Jamaica. It's not just a majority black population. Okay. Now let's read this. Let's read some more of this. The people who are most vocal in questioning the facts of Harris's identity tend to be hardcore QAnon adjacent, Trump loving conspiracy theorists. Oh, is that what I am? I'm a QAnon person. Okay. When I'm looking at pictures of Kamala's family, we'll get to those in a minute. And I'm seeing Indian people. When I see her on the stage after the DNC with a bunch of non-black people that's in her family, I'm like, where's the black at? How do you get black from all the other races that don't really look like black at all? Anyway, they continue. I don't think Jackson falls into that camp, but I do wonder what the algorithms are serving her. I start again. Harris has dual heritage, I say, and given this moment, does Jackson think America is ready for if we agree she's black or, okay, a woman of color? Not black, but she's colored. Okay, she's colored. Are we ready for a color in the Oval Office? That's what she said. Okay, some may be offended at me saying colored, but how is it different than saying woman of color? All you did make it a little bit fancy.
I've always thought that, actually.
Colored people,
I've always been like,
people of color, it's the exact same phrase.
Person of color is the same thing as saying colored. Seems just.
Miss Jackson responds, I don't know. Jackson stage whispers. Honestly, I don't want to answer that because I really, truthfully don't know. I think either way it goes is going to be mayhem. She doesn't think there are people. Okay, so then they're getting into the transition of power, all this, that, and the third. Okay, so you kind of understand what's going on. Janet is not really buying into this whole thing about Kamala being a black woman, which is, in my opinion, again, correct. Now, there was an apology that got leaked, okay? And like I said, her team said, that's not true. We didn't apologize for what we said. Not at all. Let me get down here a little bit. So this guy named Mo El Masri. Now, the guy claimed to be a manager. He's not. Her manager is her brother, Randy. And he's been a manager for a long time, many years.
She ever broke a Puerto Rican.
His statement says Janet Jackson would like to clarify her recent comments. She recognizes that her statements regarding Vice President Kamala Harris's racial identity
that would be the requirement. That's the requirement for being
Janet
black.
respects Harris's dual heritage as both black and Indian and apologizes for any confusion caused. She values the diversity Harris represents and understands the importance of celebrating that in today's society. Janet remains committed to promoting unity and understanding. That was 100% fake. That guy wrote that, put it out without authorization at all from Janet's camp.
But I don't understand who would spend their time to do that. Who is the fake publicist for Janet Jackson? You're contacting, you're calling Variety, you're calling all these people. Like, yo, she wants to apologize. Yo, here's a statement. Who wouldn't do that? Who isn't being paid to do it?
Maybe it was like someone that got let go and they were trying to get back in Janet's good favor. You know what I'm saying? Let's not forget that Janet Jackson. Listen, man, is Janet Jackson herself the beacon of what we would consider black? No, right? She is a Jackson. She's done some skin lightening, some changing of her African features, right? The Jacksons historically had wider noses. They all shun that. But I don't think Janet really cares about this conversation, and I don't care about what the publicist has to say. What's amazing to me is I just looked up a picture, and I know he's going to get into this. As far as I can tell, looking at the picture of friggin' Kamala's dad, he is definitely not a white man. So
He's definitely not a white man. But so my question to you right now: what is the definition of black? What makes someone black?
So I would assume that you are a descendant of the continent of Africa, right? And a certain percentage. And some people would go as far as to say your social standing and how you're treated across the diaspora. For me personally, so you identify with your tribe, right? Here's the thing. This is what most people are talking about when they say what makes a person black. Where the conversation becomes confused is black people or certain black groups of black people have different definitions based off of social standards, right? Or political or philosophical standards, right? Here's the thing that we all have to admit. OJ probably didn't enjoy being black, but does it change the fact that he was black? No, it does not change the fact he was black. This becomes more of a social commentary question, right, man? How do you identify as a group, or how do you identify with your group? And it's not just black people that do this, right? This is a conversation held within, I guess, all minority groups. Jewish people, if certain Jewish groups, the Orthodox Jews don't recognize the Reformed Jews as real Jews based off their beliefs of Scripture. Or they're like, wait, you guys are taking too many liberties. Giving your kids the Goyim names and stuff like that.
Right. And it's true. A lot of people don't realize this. In the rabbinic courts, to be Jewish, it has to go through your mother's bloodline.
Yeah.
And so they actually do have a definition of like how Jewish is Jewish. Yeah. Although personally, I think all of this stuff is ridiculous. Matt says she's Indian. She admitted it to when she said she washed grains in the bathtub. That's some Indian shit. They nasty when they make their the way they make their food. Damn, son. Jesus, he went there, and I read it. Damn.
Now,
black people aren't gross when they cook.
So here's the thing about that. So that's pandering. What she did there was as egregious to me as when Hillary Clinton's mayonnaise ass said she keeps hot sauce in her fucking purse. People confuse blackness with the stereotypes of subcultures, right? Motherfuckers will put on a whole accent to try to prove their blackness. And I'm just like, who are you doing this for?
But you know what? That's what Janet Jackson is talking about when she says she's not black. And then also that is also, I believe, Anthony Brian Logan is talking about. He believes that like to be black, you have to participate in these subculture things.
So here's the crazy thing, right? So if you go somewhere like the revolutionary community, Pan-Africanists in the black community, right? They would say to be black, you have to identify with what most people would commonly call the struggle, or at least the social political ideology of blackness, right? You have to identify with it. You can't say, and I won't say they will say you can't say anything disparaging about another black person, but you have to resist the powers that be, right? For me personally, here's how I define blackness. Are you ready? This is going to blow your fucking mind, Mantis.
Okay.
My mama black. My daddy black. I'm black. Your mama.
Boom.
Your mama black. Your daddy white. You are half black.
Yes.
But if you choose to identify as black, that's none of my fucking business. The only time I call someone anti-black is when they are woefully a puppet for anti-black rhetoric. And wait, here, you're going to ask me, Steve, well, what do you qualify as anti-black rhetoric? Any black person that stands up on any platform and laughs at black people at the expense of black people in this regard. These are the only people I call Uncle Toms. When you know that something is racist, tried and true, and you try to explain the racism away, for instance, when Candace Owens said on her platform that lynching wasn't as widespread as we all think, and in fact, it was only 1,000, I don't want to misquote her, 1,000 counts of lynching, that could be statistically correct. That's not what makes her anti-black. It was the words that followed. It was the diminishing of the act of lynching, as if we're oh shit, it was only 1,000. Well, that has turned me around on this whole subject.
Right.
Only 1,000 lynchings means if it was 1,001, that's a bad thing. But 1,000,
they're like only 1,000. That's not that bad. There are more car accidents every year than that. That is wild. That is fucking wild. That is absolutely wild.
I believe that statement to be anti-black. I also believe that if you sell crack in your community, you are anti-black.
I would agree with that. I agree with that definition right there.
I believe if you make music that celebrates the murdering of other black people and then pivot and buy a portion of a basketball team and grow some funky ass looking dreads, that makes you anti-black.
Wait, but what if you make music celebrating the murder of blacks, but they had it coming?
Now you got to break that one down for me. What do you mean they had it coming?
So like, okay, so what if I'm like, I make a rap song and I'm like, I killed these motherfuckers who were pedophiles.
Were they all black?
That's not anti-black.
Were they all black?
They were black.
No, that's not anti-black.
There we go. See what I'm saying? So it has to be within context. There's always a context to it.
So yeah. There's a context, but you're only proving my point. If you make an album about slanging mad dope in the hood,
right. I knew what you meant, but I was just giving. I was trying to work around the definition just so we're all clear.
And so D asked the poignant question. So now this shifts it to the political sphere. Does Kamala being half black garner your vote as a black person? Because what has Kamala done for the black community? Now, this is the way that we should be thinking about it. It's quid pro quo, transactional, right? You get my vote based on how you represent my interest. Now, if we statistically went through what she has done for the black community, then it's up to each individual black person to say, is this enough to give her my vote?
Actually, you know what? It wasn't part of your definition, but I would say someone who becomes a prosecutor and strongly throws the book at blacks on a daily basis is anti-black.
Well, see, and then this is all right. So now we got to be mature in this conversation, right? So there have been some instances in her prosecutor career where, yes, she did that for sure, right? You can't remix history, right? Or there've been, instances where she was heavy-handed as a prosecutor. This is something that Malcolm X dealt with on a day-to-day basis, though. Let me ask you a question. We can all acknowledge there are innocent people in prison. In fact, there's a man who most likely is innocent who had a stay of execution rejected today who's going to be murdered by the state, right? Allegedly. But some of our greatest thinkers would also say, is every person who's impoverished that's a criminal, does that make them innocent if they continue to commit the crimes?
I mean, I would say no. I don't believe that here's what it is. I believe that the circumstances of anything, like for instance, I watched the Menendez brothers, limited series over the weekend. Yes, being molested all the time and assaulted by your parents all the time may lead you to murder them.
Absolutely.
You still need to go to jail, but we will give you some leniency. Just like, yes, poverty leads you to do crime. We'll give you leniency, but you're still guilty of that crime.
You know who actually has some of the best thinking I've ever heard around this that was surmised in a real good conversation? Bex and I were talking about this, having a very good back and forth one day. When I say back and forth, we weren't disagreeing with each other. And we both came to the conclusion because of something Bex said. Bex, I can't remember exactly what you said, but it was so profound. Restitution to the community. You know what that means, right? So when you get locked up, you're ordered to pay restitution to the state. You got to pay back for that bed they gave you when you were locked up and all that stuff. But do these quote unquote brothers and sisters who have done harm to the city, to the community, do they come back and do restitution to the community, right? And those are people that I think I would count amongst us as black people. Everyone can make a mistake or do wrong, even if it wasn't a mistake. But
Agreed.
Do you repent and then perform acts of restitution? These are typically the brothers and sisters you see who get very heavily involved in community activities. They are looking to sway other young youths from not going the path that they went. Those type of people are the type of people that I appreciate, and they are welcome back in the fold. And how am I tying this back to Dee's question about what has she done for black people? As far as I can tell, looking at her career, using my critical thinking, she has not done enough for me. She has not done enough to sway me into thinking that she's a civil rights leader, right? Or she's a champion for black causes. And this has nothing to do with the whole I'm sorry, man. Reparations conversation. She just has not met my strict criteria of going from town to town, working with the community to meet their best interest.
You're saying Kamala or Janet?
Kamala. Well, Jen ain't done shit either. Jen ain't done shit either.
Yeah, no. And as Bex pointed out, she moved to London. She's been living in London all this time. She has no use for us American black scum.
Yeah,
right?
she's over there with those motherfuckers stealing our good acting jobs, man. Black acting jobs for black Americans.
Bex says, I don't think that's what Jen is saying. I honestly just think Auntie just doesn't care and just gave the lady an answer. I think it's very possible. What about black men in prison for free labor for the state of California?
That is very anti-black. Yes.
That's very anti-black.
Yes. But here's the thing. The point I'm trying to make is not every person in prison deserves that level of protection. Now,
Right.
There are some people in prison, and this might blow your fucking mind, right? That deserve to be in prison. I don't want to say that too loud because the algorithm might get me. But there are people in prison.
Wait, for saying that people belong in prison?
And they only happen to be black. Like, they only happen to be black. So does that mean I have to feel sorry for them? My heart goes out to the brothers and sisters who are wrongfully convicted. And for those that were rightly convicted, I pray that your reentry allows you an opportunity to pay back the community that you were predatory towards before you got there. You see what I did there? I used something called logic.
Matt says, what about hiding evidence to keep a black man on death row? Is that anti-black? Yeah.
I would say that is wildly anti-black. I would say that's wild.
It says, does arresting black parents for not being able to make sure their kids go to school, is that anti-black?
Also falls under the criteria. I would say that is an anti-black action, predatory behaviors towards a percentage of black people.
Actually, I would say just in general, I have strong feelings about this particular thing that he just said. And it's not just about blacks, it's just about anyone. I think the state is fucking foolish for constantly punishing parents whether their kids are going to school. Because at a certain age, you cannot control whether the kid goes to school or not. You can punish them you can beat them, you can punish them, but if you know, at the age of 14, if they're freaking playing hooky all the fucking time, after you've beaten the shit out of them multiple times, what are you going to do?
Hey, can I throw something wild out to you, man? It's going to blow your fucking mind, right? When I lived in Chicago, my mother was threatened with truancy because I was cutting school. Now, I was cutting school for a variety of reasons, but all of them were reasons. And one of them was, did I mention I went to an all-black school in Chicago?
You didn't, but I think we assumed.
This is important for context, man.
Wait, hold on. Time out. It was geographically all black, or it was specifically catered just to blacks?
Geographically.
Okay.
This is important for context. One of the reasons I had to cut school, and I used the word had, was I was getting my ass kicked by other black people on a day-to-day basis.
For what?
Oh, because they were in gangs.
Oh, right.
And I lived in a rival neighborhood. And to no fault of my own, I had to walk from my rival neighborhood into the neighborhood in which I was zoned in. But apparently gangbangers don't care about zoning, right? And it seemed as if a better idea for me on some days to not go to school and not have my ass viciously kicked by one of my altruistic brothers.
It's funny you look back. I still have love for those motherfuckers who kick my ass.
Oh, no, I don't want to give you that impression. I ain't got no love for those motherfuckers. I don't. Right. But it's one of those things. I remember I brought this up in conversation outside of streaming, and they were like, well, you can't talk about that type of stuff like in mixed company. I'm like, why can't I talk about the type of stuff? It was like, well, it gives the impression. I'm like, the impression that I was being beat up by my own people? Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what happened. That's the impression. I was hoping I was relating that correctly because I was not accosted by white students. And it didn't change me to the point where I hated black people. In fact, I don't have an anti-black bone in my body. What I have is a realistic view that people do horrible things. But to the points that we're making about Kamala Harris and her connection to the black community, I think, to quote Bex yet again, sometimes a motherfucker saying their kinfolk isn't enough. I need to know what you've done. Like, where you went to school means nothing to me. What did you do while you were in school? What parties were you a part of? What activities did you contribute to? Did you go to the local area, maybe do something in the community? Whoa, you went to school, listened to Live Crew, smoked weed. That doesn't sound like it's uplifting the people. That doesn't sound like it's you giving back in any way, shape, or form. And in regards to voting for Trump and that making you anti-black in itself, I could agree with that statement. But damn, if only we had a third-party system, or if only we had another.
Wait, hold on. You would agree with that statement?
I agree with it in this sense, right? There is, and you and I have talked about it, there's a duplicitous nature into which Trump has run his campaign. And that's not my fault as a black man. His coziness towards the alt-right is why people are able to make that critique. It's one of the things I struggle with. Like, it's like the worst feeling on earth being like, I agree with you. I agree with you. I just need to ask you one question. Why is that woman with you right now? Remember the supervillain we were talking about last week?
Right. Laura Loomer or whatever.
Well, the free spirit. Why is that woman with you? You say, whose fault is that? Are you going to hold me accountable for his poor political decisions? I know that everyone, both right and left, you both share the same opinion. Well, you got to vote for the person that best represents your ideals. But if we're doing that, I also have to reflect back that both parties do a horrible job at the conversion process. Your job as a politician is to convert me to your viewpoint. In that transactional point, I have to be close to 80% comfortable with you as a candidate. And neither one of these candidates am I that close with. Here's the thing, though. I am against abortion. I have no problem saying that out loud. I am anti-abortion. I'm a pro-life type of guy. I believe in the innocence of a child and that the child is not at fault for the way it was conceived. I do not believe that abortion should be used as a form of contraceptive, right? And I don't think this is a social conversation. You know, I don't think this is a social conversation in the sense where it's wild to think that abortion is too readily available when we should be looking at, hey, is there anyone that's unclear that if you have sex, another being might be a result of it? You know what I'm saying? Now, if we're going to talk about the percentage of incest and rape, I can't say it as a Christian, so don't get mad at me. I believe that a child is innocent in spite of the way they were created, and I don't want them to be victimized for how they were created. I do believe, however, though, that the conservatives came with a plan that even conceded to that, even if I didn't agree to it, where they said, okay, these exceptions, and the other side said, no, it's got to be 100%. And that's when I left the Democratic Party. That's the deal breaker for me, right? I can agree with free healthcare. I believe in social services. I know that they work if they're run ethically, but that's it for me, Mantis. Like, if your candidate is for abortion, watch Steve stand up and then walk out the room because I can't do it. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. I know we've had some conversations about who I'm voting for. I'll tell you who I'm not voting for. The person that supports abortion. It's not going to happen. That is the most anti-black thing.
Amen.
The most anti-black thing in America.
Right. Obviously, you know what it is. Obviously, I'm scared to talk because like whatever you say, it's gonna whatever I say, it's gonna trigger somebody. But like the bamboozlement of using abortion exponentially affects blacks than it does other races. Right, and so like the biggest genocide being caused is black babies, like period. And so fuck that. Yeah. So my stance on it is anyone that would do harm to the black community by condoning murdering black people, you are anti-black. And no matter how you try to mansplain that away, if your official stance isn't that the murdering of black lives needs to be halted on every front, I think you're full of shit.
And I don't think you know what it means to be pro-black. Now,
Right.
with that said, looking at the Trump side, until he cast out Stormfront and people like that around him, I don't really feel comfortable endorsing that motherfucker.
Yo, can I just remind you? Can I remind you? That, the Charlottesville quote that these fuckers.
No, that's different. That was a lie. That was a lie.
That was a lie. He clearly said, with the exception of the white supremacists and the Nazis, there are good people on both sides. He said this, and they love to edit it.
Yeah. I'm not talking about.
I do agree with you. At this point, he doesn't clearly state something. He's just like, are those a bunch of Nazis in your party? He's like, are they Nazis? I didn't notice. I just gotta say, sometimes we have to do grimy things for the greater good.
I don't think that's how goodness works, but I know that.
Well, okay. What about obviously we're running late, but what about World War II?
But that's what. Okay, it's funny. I had the same conversation with Da Vinci in regards to war, murder, and self-defense, and responding to evil. We would all have to be in agreement on what evil is. And some short motherfucker with a brown mustache saying, "I'm going to eradicate anyone that doesn't look like me," I think that qualifies as evil, right?
Yes.
Now, the political reasonings behind it were not altruistic. The response to a dictator, I believe, was just. But in war, you are not murdering an enemy combatant unless you're murdering an enemy combatant. And then let me give you an example. A man that surrenders during wartime should be spared, right? These are the rules of engagement that have been set out by war.
Most of the time, I would agree.
No. We're talking about what's just. If you shoot a man who has surrendered, I believe that to be an act of murder. If you shoot a man who's trying to shoot you, that is self-defense. That is your duty during wartime. If you kill families during war, it doesn't matter the order you were given, even under pain of death, you know what you're doing is evil and unjust. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how we deal with that stuff. So in regards to World War II, I believe that was a just war. We're responding to evil.
Okay. But I obviously we could do that for another time. But there's so many gray areas in the whether you kill a surrendering man or not. So.
I do not want Mantis on my wartime council. He's like, what?
No, you do. You know why? I'm gonna get you over the finish line. I'm gonna get you. These soft motherfuckers are gonna be like, well, that's wrong, and Mantis is gonna tell you where it's at, and we're gonna finish together strong.
But pivoting back to Kamala Harris, man, like the reason why, remember we were talking in the green room about why, my frustration behind this whole conversation. Both sides make me nauseated with this. I hate the fact that she panders to black people and conversational points with things like greens in the tub. Is this the culmination of our people? Right? She ducked and dodged the question about reparations for descendants of slaves. In America, what you decide to do in Jamaica is up to the Jamaican government. What they do in France is up to the French government. When we're talking about reparations, don't play dumb, bitch.
Yeah, right here, right now, American tax dollars. What's going on? She's really become the queen of dodging questions, and I don't think she does it skillfully. She does it very unskillfully. I don't know if you saw the interview the other day when the interviewer said, "You say you're going to do this and that. What specifically are you going to do?" And she goes, My mother was a working class woman," and she goes on this 8-minute tirade talking about hope and fear and families and working. It doesn't go remotely close to the answer, right?
Yeah.
So what? Like I'm saying, I don't understand how someone could vote for her. Here's what it is: it's clear what's going to happen.
Right.
Both of the candidates are shite, and at the end of the day, we're going to vote our moral conscience, right? And so people who love riots and welfare and universal health care are gonna vote for one person, and the other person who doesn't like abortion and likes hard work and Christian families is gonna vote the other. And at the end of the day, everyone's gonna vote who they think is represents these things, even though they may not.
Right.
Right? Because, like, I'll tell you, like, for instance, if you notice Trump, you know, like I said, I'm going to vote for him because he's giving me more of what I want than she does. But for instance, if you ask him about Christianity, he's been caught on interviews right now. He doesn't even understand Christianity.
Oh, no.
He said, he's like, if you do good, you go to heaven. If you do bad, you go to the other place. And that's all he thinks it is.
Yeah.
And so I don't understand why there are Christian people who are like, he's been chosen. Chosen? He doesn't even know Jesus, let alone like any of your morals or your principles or anything. So it is bizarre. So a lot of these ideas are fake, right? They're in her head.
Yeah.
That they represent something. But at the end of the day, that's what this election is down to, because neither of them are really showing us. Here's what it is. He's showing us his agenda. She's not, so we don't know how to counter that. You know what I mean?
No, I know exactly what you're saying. It's this the duplicitous response, like I was saying before. Like Dee asked the question, in regards to how does the black community feel about her Kamala Harris sleeping with a married man? Yeah. And Dee, that is a valid question to ask. I can't answer on behalf of the black community, but I will. I would say the response to that, depending on who you're talking about, would be something like this. Well, how does the Christian community feel about Trump being a known adulterer?
Right.
And this is where it gets weird, man, when you have two morally deplorable figures. And I say deplorable because we just got to look, if you're looking at it from a Christian lens, they both are. When you have two morally deplorable people running, and it's, you know.
And like you said, it's the two-party system. That's the problem. We only have two people to choose from. I wish in like the general parties that are Christian, I do wish I had other choices.
Oh, absolutely, man.
You know what I mean? And then I could have a choice of 5 different quote unquote Christians.
Yeah.
And so I would feel better casting a vote for someone else other than this dude. But he is, unfortunately, like they say, the lesser of two evils, in my opinion. And so I'm making it clear who I'm voting for.
Here's a great question. Janet Jackson not knowing if Kamala Harris is black or not, which I agree with Bex. I think this was more of a thing where Janet just like, I heard she wasn't. Is she black? I don't know. I don't think there was a political agenda behind this, which is what is being assigned by the person who wrote this article. Janet Jackson, I don't believe, had a political agenda. It doesn't matter who used
Absolutely
her
not. She did not. I agree with you.
I think Janet Jackson responded like most of our elders in the black community would respond to that question, like, oh, is she black? I did not know that.
so like, here's what it is. There's a mad rush toward the end of this for like mainstream journalism to force celebrities to say they're voting for Kamala Harris. I don't know if you saw The View and Usher, but Usher said, he's like, yeah, I'm voting for Kamala Harris. And they're like, and I think, and literally Joy Behar literally says, now I think you also need to renounce Trump because he's an existential threat to democracy. And I love what Usher said. Usher said, I'm not really a political guy, but I would say that everyone should make their own choices on who they're voting, and I can't tell you who to vote for. And I was like, bravo.
Yeah.
Bravo. You know, that's an amazing fucking thing. But they're trying to do it to everyone. They're trying to do it to that new pop star Chapel Roan. And so she's a lesbian, and they asked her, they're like, why haven't you endorsed Kamala yet? And she's like, I don't tell people who to vote for. And so now people are trying to cancel this girl.
See,
because they're like, you're a lesbian, you have to vote for Kamala, and it's just totally twisted.
Bro, you know what would be so crazy? This might bug you out, man. Could you imagine if Malcolm X got resurrected for a day and they asked him, who are you voting for? Given what we all know about Brother Malcolm, do you really think that he would come out looking at Kamala Harris as a political figure and say, I'm voting for that sister? Or might he say something similar? And it's funny because people love Malcolm when he's critiquing the historic black church. But he also had a thing to say about black liberals and liberals in general. And don't you think that he would possibly say something to akin of this? I think she's a puppet for the Liberal Party that has worked toe and nail to help keep us down as a people group, and then they'd be out to cancel Malcolm X.
And you know what else? Like straight up, here's the deal: he would basically say that the office of the presidency is not for blacks because it's corrupted and it's inherently white, and so the idea that you think you could get freedom or justice from it is ridiculous, and therefore he's not either going to not answer or he'll tell you to vote for Trump because that's what white people do.
Right.
We let the chat go a little long right there. Roxanne M, welcome in.
Oh, I'm sorry, D. I thought you did ask that question. Who wrote that? I thought someone wrote, what does the black community think about to Kamala?
Well, D did ask, what has Kamala done for the black community?
No, I saw that one. I thought someone asked, I could have sworn someone asked, what does the black community think about Kamala Harris sleeping with a married man?
So Roxanne M says Stephen Miller wants to deport all Negroes. I don't even know who Stephen Miller is. Absolutely, Steve, says Matt. Women these days use abortion like Starbucks punch card, 10 abortions, and the next one's free. Whoa.
That's my bad, D. I thought it was you, but I guess it's not in here. I imagined that shit. But I thought it was still a great answer.
Matt continues. He says, if Kamala wins as president, Madam President, Russia just nuked a U.S. city. How will we respond? Kamala says, I was born into a middle-class family. We loved our lawns. That's how she be answering questions, man. That's how this girl goes. Roxanne M says she's a Jehovah's Witness.
Janet's that was Matt's question. Okay. Thank you, D.
So Roxanne M points out she's a Jehovah's Witness. Janet's not allowed to have public political views. And so I thought about that. Yeah, Jehovah's Witnesses are not allowed to have that, which is why she's trying to be shady about her answers.
She's not a Jehovah's Witness anymore.
Oh, not anymore?
No, when she married Homeboy, she converted to Islam. Oh shit! Here we go. My favorite topic: liberals and Muslims.
I got into this fight the other day with a white liberal.
Liberals and Muslims. Yes, Janet Jackson converted to Islam a few years back when she married Homeboy.
Yeah, Usher had a good response.
So somewhere right now, a liberal's mind is blown. I don't know what to say. I can't say anything bad about Muslims.
You know what I got? Yeah, right. Islam is right about women. Like what I love. There's a certain branch of religions and groups that are like the wishy-washy. I'm trying to find myself and avoid the true Christian God.
Yes.
Pile, and it's Mormonism, it's Jehovah's Witness, and it's Islam. That group right there is like people are like they're always jumping around them, or they might be Buddhist or something because they're like really New Age, right?
Right.
And they'll never settle on one. They'll always jump around between them because they think one of them has the answer, and it will never answer anything that they need.
Yeah. What did RM say right here? I gotta get my glasses. Catherine Jackson is still practicing, so I think the family is still part of the JW. Yeah, no, I know they were raised. That's why they refer to their mother and father by their first names, because Jehovah's Witnesses are all going to hell. But
so it is funny.
But
obviously, the family modeling school is not normally our religious cast. We are religious men who are actually on the cast. But however, I will say this. I did not know their full theology until very recently. And it's been appeared to me. And then, so the truth is, yeah, they're going to hell.
Yeah. Yeah, not only are they on some Jesus is an angel type stuff.
Yeah, they think he's Michael or something.
Yeah,
wow. And the
it's
thing
like
they
the
believe.
Mormons. The Mormons think that black people were. Well, you know what the Mormons believe. Right?
Yes, I do. And if you want to get crazy, my Haitian mother was Mormon for like a hot second.
Yeah, I got so much respect for your mother, man.
Oh, thank you, man.
because at least she went out there and experienced life. You know what I'm saying? Like, but can we get back to the Muslim and liberal thing, because that's always where I like to land, right?
I love to land on hitting those white liberals.
Doesn't Janet Jackson being a Muslim afford her a certain type of social capital where she can't be critiqued? Bex brought it up earlier. The entire community turned on her. Now, Bex, you got any receipts for that? I believe you, of course, but are you referring to Black Twitter? Because that's not the entirety of the community. And, if you're a Black Muslim, you're above reproach socially. You can't. It don't get much blacker than that.
So, you're absolutely right. Everything you're saying is unfortunately right. It is absurd. It's totally absurd. Anyone who has half a brain understands the uselessness of that status, right?
I would say it's interesting. There is a dude by the name of Bro Diallo, and I have respect for him in this regard, man. He is an atheist, and when he says he's an atheist, he's an anti-theist in every sense of the word. He's anti-spiritualist, anti-African spiritualist. He does not believe in the spiritual realm. He does believe in a communal system amongst Black people, but he does not believe in spirituality in any way, shape, or form, if I'm surmising his views correctly. And man, does he give Black Muslims that smoke on the mic, man. He gives them the work.
I didn't say the entire, but definitely Black Twitter and Instagram says Bex, since he says, I love how being a yellow white man's religion is the ultimate blackness.
Listen, Cincy, I didn't make the rules, man. But I'm saying, you go to Philly, you cannot publicly question a Black Muslim about their commitment to the community at all. It is, what I'm saying, and that's why I love to see liberals.
But also, that's the highest ground when confronting a white person. When a white person's just trying to shoot you down, and you're like, "Well, I'm Black and I'm a Muslim." They're like, "Oh, I'm sorry," like you're have some exalted position.
It's like the perfect,
an exalted position of buffoonery. You mean?
It is the perfect Pokemon card. It is the Uno reverse card in the race relations. It's like, oh, did I not tell you I was Muslim? And they're like, whoa,
yeah, because it gives you multiple levels of oppression, right? Ultimately, when we talk about this whole, to wrap up Janet and all this whole things, and me and you were saying this in the green room, it is sad that our political world is more interested in someone's skin color than policies or their opinions or their demeanor or how they handle themselves during a nuclear strike or something.
Exactly.
The fact that they are fighting over whether her dad is dark enough. Oh, actually, I didn't show that part, and you've seen it.
Yeah.
Anthony Brian Logan eventually goes and he looks and he pulls up a picture of her dad and he's like, well, look at him. He's practically white. And I'm like, I love him, but he's such a colorist, right? He does not have room in his palette.
No, bro. That's not how colorism works. You can only be colorist if you're of the lighter hue critiquing darker Blacks. Now,
this is the same logic that like white people can't, Black people can't be racist.
Listen, man. I'm just giving you how the scales are tipped, right? I'm just giving you how the scales are tipped in these conversations. So if someone said to me, let's say, okay, we'll use Cincy because he's the first person up on the screen. If Cincy was running for office, and they said, "What has Cincy done for the Black community?" I would be able to point to an instance of him working with at-risk youth in the community and him doing something that's tangible, right? And that would answer that question, or you would hope it would answer that question. If someone can point to that instance with Kamala, then we can put that up on the board. If there's anyone in the audience right now, and this is not a trick question, if you can point to an instance of something tangible she's done to impact the lives of Black people, that is something that we need to get front and center. That's just a challenge I have.
I agree that if she's going to be using the Black card, and I have no problem with her using the Black card, but you're right. Can she show a moment where she wasn't anti-Black for even just a moment? Mm-hmm. And so everything, even her vice presidency, she was vice president to a white rich dude who said to the people, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black.
Who
Had
bel-
the fucking audacity to say that, and she was his VP.
and yeah, and his most bipartisan view that he'll be remembered by doesn't mean this has to be correct, but he reached across an aisle with a known racist, like an old school racist, a real racist, a segregationist. Like,
Right.
he's like-
Do you know about Corn Pop?
Is this some type of Korean music?
So, so there's a tendency. It's always seems to be the Democrats. For people to appear more black, they make up black people they once knew. And so Biden, when he was running last time,
Right.
in 2020, made up a story about a tough black guy he knew named Corn Pop, who was from the hood, and he was a tough motherfucker, and he called him Corn Pop. And people tried to look it up. They're like, who is this Corn Pop? This street tough black guy he knew. Can't find any evidence of this guy's existence. But Biden swears there's a Corn Pop out there.
Look, apparently Corn Pop is a clown. That's what I looked it up, and the first thing that came up is a performer by the name of Corn Pop who was a clown on Facebook. So shout out to Corn Pop.
Shout out to Corn Pop.
Yeah, man. Listen, white people making up black people in times of crisis is not a new thing. Remember, my famously, I told you about the white woman who killed her own children and made up a whole brother and made a description of him. This is not a new thing, right?
Which means, when you do those descriptions with the cops, you're there for hours.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, he had like a nose, like, well, and you're explaining every little thing.
And she basically described some brother she probably walked past one time. Imagine
That poor son of a bitch probably got arrested at some point.
Could you imagine if they walked past this dude? Roxanne says she was proud of her record as a DA of San Francisco when it comes to sexual violence and trafficking. I think that is something to be proud of. Yes, that is something to be proud of. I think the question that was levied in regards to her blackness and her connection to the community, specifically, if someone can put up on the board what she has done for black people. Now, stopping human trafficking impacts all people. So we're going to give her a point for stopping human trafficking.
I agree. Here's what I'm saying. And once again, I want to point out that this is, my understanding of Christianity and the way it works. People are not evil. Their actions are evil. Action is evil, not a person. And so she's not entirely evil. During her time as DA, she's probably done a lot of great things for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, did she also, at some times, use it to profit herself? Did she use it to prop herself up while she was bringing her community down? And so the people have said she jokes about all the black people she arrested smoking weed at a dinner party. Obviously, there's no recordings or anything like that, but it's believable. It's believable that she said that.
That's why I was going to say, also, the point we just gave her, do we wash that point out because she held a man unjustly?
Ooh. Right? Yeah, no. What do we do about that? And so obviously we can't check every person's every moment of their life. But at the end of the day, should the black community really say, she's my candidate, she represents me in my community?
Here's what I'm saying, and on this part, I have to make sure I'm being clear because my poor mother, I want to just be that person that could just be like, yeah, man, hoorah, she went to a black college. I want to be that person. But the problem is I was raised in the militant community and I can't be that black person. Like, I can't. I've been taught to scrutinize everything. And should black people unanimously vote for her just because she proclaims to be black? I would say no. I would say that if we look at it critically, we would start asking different questions. But I don't think every black person is thinking about it like this. I know that the black people that they have front and center on CNN and MSNBC, they are trying to get you to feel a certain type of way about it. But like I said, if you go over to the revolutionary community, they feel a different way about Kamala Harris. And they're very vocal about how they feel about Kamala Harris. And they were vocal about how they felt about Obama.
We talked about Smear Kanish.
Oh,
So Smear Kanish is an MSNBC. He has a show, just called Smear Kanish. It's usually, I think, Saturday mornings, and so he was the one who, it's part of his show where he sent a black man to an Atlanta barbershop, and they were asking them, what do you think of Kamala? And all the guys at the shop were like, I don't think he's black. I don't think he's black. And all this
yeah.
And then at the end of the episode, Shamir Kanish gets on and he's like, the main guy, he's like, and for the record, we polled, those guys were low information voters. We polled a bunch of high information voters, and they don't agree with these guys. And so basically he's saying he asked a bunch of rich black people as opposed to poor black people.
Those downside motherfuckers.
It's so sad.
Oh man, did you have fun tonight, man?
I had a ball. Final comment, Matt says, I'm sorry, but one good deed doesn't save you from a lifetime of sin. We all know that is very true. But I had a freaking ball. What about you?
I had a great time, man. Whenever we go balls to the wall and get into the political, religious stuff, it's some of my favorite content because we just get to sometimes you just got to say it plainly, man. You got to say it plainly. You got to say out loud in front of a bunch of black people. I made the best greens. Everyone knows that about me, and I made them. And I made it
in my bathtub.
Yeah. It's really if she if she would just come out and just say she made chitlins. Oh man, you know what would have been the perfect way to end this stream? This scene from Tropic Thunder when Robert Downey Jr. is in blackface and he's like, "We'll cook up some collard greens, collard greens." Because that's what I heard when she said that shit, man.
Right. She puts on an accent or whatever.
Well, famously, Obama never said no shit like that.
But you know what it was? Because he was a candidate of substance. He talked about policy and not about it's so funny. Everyone accuses him of being a race baiter. He wasn't a race baiter.
He wasn't a race baiter, man.
It wasn't at all. He just happened to be black. He happened to look black, and that was his card. That was his black card right there. But he didn't go on and on about it. He didn't go, and he actually talked about policy. And I wish we had candidate. Looking back, I feel bad for the way I treated McCain and the way I treated Romney, because I acted like they were the biggest dumbasses in the world. Compared to Trump, they are geniuses.
Yeah.
God bless them, because they actually talked about policy. They actually had ideas.
Yeah.
And now we're in a place where neither candidate has ideas. Trump is just emotional energy. He's like the immigrants and the blah, 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 and like all this shit. And then so she's the opposite. She's like, and hope. And someone's like, "What's your economic plan?" I bring hope. We're gonna have hope for everybody. Everyone's gonna have a good time because hope is coming. And I'm like, this is the most idiotic thing I've ever seen. And they're both a disgrace.
Yeah. Hey man, did I tell you? Did you see the meme I sent you that we solved the illegal aliens eating the animals?
Yes, I saw.
Do you want to share that with the audience? That they
Let me see if I can find it.
There's a mugshot picture, folks. So there was a lot of stuff going around. There are no illegal aliens eating animals, but we here at Fanboy Modeling School, we do the heavy lifting, so you don't have to do research. Believe us, take it at face value. They did find the criminal who's been eating the cats at the very least. He's known historically for having an appetite for eating cats, and he is in this world, on this planet, without permission, right? He's in America. He got away for a little while because he's very popular in the 80s. Made a little bit of a comeback in the 90s, but then got, shoved back into wherever he is as an illegal alien. But he was celebrated for his outright appetite for cats, man. If you see this man in your neighborhood, I want you to know that your HOA costs are going up.
Yes,
that is the guy right there, man.
Yeah, what's funny is Dee just said we didn't even talk about how she's a responsible gun owner. As if there's obviously that's a lie. Imagine Kamala Harris with a gun. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. But it's funny that they say that.
I'm just waiting for Matt to chime in any second now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 about women gun owners. I'm sure.
I really thought you guys were going to talk about the chupacabras. That's what T said when we were talking about who's eating the cats. We love the chupacabra. I've got my theories. So you know my whole theory about the chupacabra, right?
No, actually I don't.
I believe the chupacabra, the werewolf,
Skinwalkers
and skinwalkers are all the same creature, but I also think that they are extraterrestrial or aliens. Although, here's the thing. But I also believe that extraterrestrials aren't extraterrestrials. I think extraterrestrials are demons.
and the lizard folk.
Of course.
Listen, man, whenever you're ready to, we've said multiple, there are a few streams that have been on the docket, but we've never gotten around to it. One of which is me kicking your ass live on stream in Street Fighter. You have revisionist views on how our matches used to go down in Street Fighter, and I just don't.
I want to clarify. Back in the day, they were a little more even-handed. If he was the winner or better, maybe that's possible. But years went on, and I had not played in a long time, and Steve was moving. He was moving from an apartment to a thing, and a beloved good friend of his, came to his house and was like, I'm going to help you move all this stuff. And then during our breaks, during our downtime, Steve's like, let's play some Street Fighter. And I admit I had not played in years, and my man is trashing the crap out of me. Like I didn't even get out of the stables, as they say. Like the moment I'm like, Ryu's my best guy. I got this. And I come out and I'm just destroyed. I'm like, what happened? And I admit that happened. I'd been out of the game for a while. But that's not going to happen again. And you're right, we need to do a stream again.
You know what the crazy thing is? If you've seen me play Jedi Survivor or God of War, these are games where you're meant to lose multiple times. I don't ever want to get what you guys are getting twisted, man. Fighting games are my forte. And there's one person that has constantly beat me, and it's my older brother, Big Cat. But his day's coming. Big Cat, you listen to me. Your day's coming. You cheat.
Do you have Street Fighter 6?
No, I didn't get it. I played it. I didn't get it. I don't own it. I had it on like their free streaming service and shit like that. But all right, man. Well, let's wrap it up here. I'm sorry, man. Do you guys feel safer that we found the guy eating the cats? Do you feel a little bit safer?
He looks like a Haitian to me. But
for context, Mantis is Haitian, so I'm
Haitian, so I can make that joke. Anyway, we are out of here. We're having a good time. Where can the people find you, my brother?
You know where, man. RizRadio.com, Live 365, Riz Radio. Dope Dynamics is back in the saddle. We're gonna figure out a day. We're gonna record so we can get that up for you on Sunday, and then Mic Check would be on Thursdays. Just did an episode on the Diddler.
The Diddler, man, the Diddler. He is the gift of content because his, everything that comes out of the case is amazing.
Make sure you tune in, Riz Radio, man. Show us some love, show some support, man. We appreciate you.
Hit us up either on RizRadio.com or over on Live 365. That's where you can get all sorts of different radio stations, particularly us, Riz Radio, the best in new music. Now, guys, I normally am doing my show, Burn Your Degree, every Sunday at 6 to 10 p.m., but I'm doing something very different this weekend. I am actually doing a takeover of Wheels Off with Sammy. And so Sammy from the radio, it will be unable to do her show. So I'm taking it over Saturday and Sunday, 2 p.m. to 6. So Saturday, you have me from 2 to 6. And Sunday, you have me from 2 to 10. That's right. The Mantis does not stop. It's going to be amazing. Comedy, shenanigans, all the works. Please tune in, guys. Other than that, this is the Fanboy Modeling School signing off.
And if you don't think Caitlin Clark is attractive, then you're gay.
I mean, I hit that. I don't want you to think I wouldn't hit that. I would hit that. But, and I'd marry that because she's rich. But, I'd regret it. Anyway, we're out, guys. You have a good one. Ciao for now, bitches.
And shout out to the greatest female athlete ever, Caitlyn Jenner.